Here we go.
Howdy, howdy! You are listening to Stick Drift once again, a bi-weekly show where we talk about the world of video games and the culture surrounding them. I am your host, Power Glover, and with me this week and forevermore is...
Narrator.
If you like it or you hate it, please would you rate it? Follow the rule of cool and leave a like on that mic. You can find us on YouTube at StickDriftPodYT, on Twitter/X at StickDriftYT, and lastly on our Facebook page, Stick Drift. We're also on Spotify. Each of our content has its own channel, so for a specific podcast, please subscribe to each to make sure you get the newest audio content in your feed. We're running on empty today, aren't we? That's how we're feeling.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll get through it. We'll get through it. Yeah, I had a half day today. You know, it was pretty nice to be a person and run around the world doing stuff. It was very productive. Very productive day.
Those
lot.
days feel good when you get like a bunch of errands ran.
Mm-hmm. It's just one of those things where like it had been like sitting on my brain for long enough. I'm like, I just need to take a day, and I just need to like take half a day and just do this stuff. So. Get the car tagged and licensed, make sure the ID was good, and you know, got some windshield wipers while I was at it because mine were tattered, and yeah, finally sold my Switch to GameStop along with a million other things. Yeah, I know. I am a single console household for the first time in years.
I don't know if I could live like that.
I mean, okay, so single console meaning like current consoles. I only have a PS5 for like a week.
Yeah.
It's fine, right? I will survive somehow with my thousands of video games. But yeah, that Switch 2 is coming imminently. And yeah, let me tell you what I gave this guy. Okay, all right, we'll start here. So, did all my fun stuff. I basically told my job, I'm like, I'm not going to be in until lunch, so deal with it. You know, that sort of thing. And you know, I'm relatively not like high up, but like I have a very important job, so they're kind of like, yeah, you just need to come in whenever you can come in, sort of thing.
You're kind of a big
get your work
deal.
done. I'm kind of a big deal. No, it's not like that. It's just they don't hire anybody, so you know, I'm just by myself. But anywho, I come in at a certain time, lunchtime, whatever. Before that, I went to my local mall, and I sold a bunch of stuff. So I sold my Animal Crossing Switch, the Pro Controller, which I know you could play on the Switch too, but I'm already getting a new one. I just wanted to see how much I could throw at this thing just by trading in, to see how much I could like take off of the price, which I'll get to. It's kind of funny. I did all that. I sold some PS2 games, 3 games, like Need for Speed Underground 1 and 2 that I have beaten a million times. I don't need those anymore. I sold the Metal Gear Solid PS3 collection thing that you just bought because I have them on PS5 now. I don't need them, and they just run better. Like they're like 60 frames per second versus those games. You know, stuff like that. I had a PS1 version of Metal Gear Solid 1. I know it'll hurt your heart. I sold that too.
Oh my gosh!
I know. I
almost bought one of those when we were at that store.
Yeah.
I saw it in the case.
It was like
$40. It's not bad.
It was like a special edition. It was like a jewel case sort of thing, like a double-sided whatever. Yeah, I know. I just didn't. I don't know. It's just collecting dust. I would rather put it back into the ecosystem, if that makes sense, so someone else could play it instead of it just languishing in my basement. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I believe in giving games good homes, you know, that sort of thing. So
I'll have to find it somewhere someday. Add it to my PS1 collection.
Yeah. I mean, it's an essential piece to anybody's collection is Metal Gear Solid 1. But I have a million ways to play it, so whatever. Yeah. So I sold a bunch of stuff. So I initially sold like my Xbox Series because I never played it. I just basically this is an exercise in going like, what do I not need? What do I just not play? Let's just get rid of that stuff.
Is fair, and, if you're not going to use it, just you're not going to miss it.
Basically, but like I was giving this dude some like real crap. Like I gave him like the Amazing Spider-Man for the 360 from Beanox, for like based on that movie. That's it's not like a good game or anything.
Yeah.
Like I gave him Left 4 Dead 2, which was like one of the higher priced items, like for trading credit. I was like, dang, okay.
Yeah.
And basically, I pretty much paid off the entirety of the console. The only thing I paid out of pocket was like almost $60, and that's pretty much just the tax on that thing.
Yeah.
So I basically traded in enough stuff to get a Switch 2, the Mario Kart bundle one, and then a controller, and just paid the tax on that. Like it was kind of awesome. It's not like I couldn't afford it. I was just like, I need to get rid of stuff anyway, so might as well just do it, save some money that way, because I'm never going to use this stuff again. So did that. I asked the guy, like, hey, are you guys open on midnight for the midnight launch? And he's like, no, the mall will not allow it because the GameStop we have is in a mall.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Well, what's the deal with that? And he's like, yeah, the owner is he's just a jerk, and he doesn't. He's worried about people coming into the store after hours and just doing whatever. GameStop, the corporation, offered to hire a private security force, a policeman, whatever they wanted to secure like a good midnight launch, and the owner refused, like flat out. The owner of the mall, or at least the space or something, he refused.
That's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, midnight launches don't happen like anymore.
Yeah.
Not even for hardware. So it's kind of a bummer. I wish.
Forgotten.
Yeah, I wish I had
pastime. Yeah, those were always fun. I was at the launch of the first Switch 1 on accident because I was working at a Walmart while it was happening. So that was funny. It was a funny coincidence. Nobody really cared about it. There was like maybe 10 people there that cared about the thing because Nintendo was not in a lot of good graces at that time, especially their console division. Like their portable division was going great, but their consoles were not so great. So
right. Yeah, and it's just like you said, it's unfortunate. I wish that that thing was happening again. If it were a standalone store, then yeah, they would definitely do it. But like I feel like a lot of GameStops just exist in malls these days. I know that's different from where you're at because the one that is freestanding is still around. Is that true? But the one in the mall's gone?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, yeah, it's just pretty unfortunate,
The one that's freestanding is actually one of the more interesting ones. They've got like a pretty big retro selection. You talked about selling your PS1 copy of Metal Gear Solid. Do they sell PS1 games at your local?
Yeah.
Okay. I know they don't all do that, so
they sell. I think they sold from PS1 down and maybe some N64 stuff. Don't quote me on that because I don't know. But I know they at least accept copies of pretty much anything now. Like, I saw online like that you could accept at least N64 stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know how they display that sort of thing, but like they're getting into that retro niche sort of boutique selling. And I think that makes sense. I think that's just smart business
for them.
Yeah.
Makes a lot more sense than the NFT era. That route was didn't make much sense. That was a sad era for GameStop. I pretty much think that they've gotten out of that business now. So
I'm pretty sure, like all fads like that, and crypto, that's gone the way of the dodo. But
yeah, I saw like a video thumbnail the other day of one of those like NFT monkeys, and it had like a red like minus 82% underneath the crypto monkey. I'm like, oh yeah, those things are probably going under, those crypto apes. What are those things?
They also I forget what they're called, like bad apes or something. They're awful. They look terrible. Like they just look bad,
But
they never looked good.
You could have it as your profile picture, and nobody else was allowed to because you owned that ape.
Yeah, I always love that online discourse of I took a picture of your monkey and guys getting really mad about it. They went like, no, this is an NFT. I own this. This is digital currency, dog. And then you're like, Nah, dude. See, because I stole that digital currency, and that shit is mine. It's really funny.
You
to
reply
see
to
people
him
get bent
and
out of
you
shape.
just have your profile picture
Yeah.
the same NFT ape.
Yeah.
Like, oh wow, this is an interesting NFT. Thanks for sharing
Thanks for
this.
sharing. Yeah. It's like, no, there's only one. I own the license for this thing. Hey, imagine a world where you have a gun. Okay, this gun has a code on it. It's a special code. You can take it from game to game, shooting all your friends. What about that? That would work so well because everything is so cohesive in the world of video games. What do you think about this? This is a great idea. Get on
Yeah,
that.
I think so. I think we need Mario to have a gun.
He does have a gun. Have you played Mario Rabbids? That is a gun.
He has a gun in that game? Does he
buddy.
kill people?
People are Rabbids people. This is the next question.
Yes!
They're they're like minions. They're
Oh
like
my gosh.
sentient.
Are you saying minions aren't
beings.
people? That's where you've lost
Yes.
me. Minions are
I don't
people.
think minions are
Minions
people.
have rights.
No,
Yeah.
do they though? I don't think
Yeah.
so. Just because they wear pants doesn't mean they pay taxes.
I think each one of those minions pays they get a W-2 from Gru and they pay their taxes.
Yeah, definitely. That's absurd. They did a bunch of work on the side, so they're filing 1099s.
Some of
Oh
them
my
do.
God.
Some of them do more work than just work for Gru. Okay, like they have
Yeah.
complex lives. These minions. All right.
They
You
really
can't
don't. They
disrespect them
really
like
don't,
that.
though.
They're
They
the
really don't.
Hey, listen. They're the icon of Facebook moms everywhere. You can't disrespect them.
I sure can. They're made by French people, and I wish French people were.
Well, yeah. You like that Clair Obscur game though. You wouldn't have that game without French people.
Oh, but those French people, they're alive and well. They're doing all right. They're only alive if they make good stuff,
Oh my
like that
gosh.
and Beauty and the Beast. Anyway, we're off the rails already. Minionless. I know Minions firsthand because I have a little child that begs me for Minions all the time and goes, "I want to watch Minions." She doesn't say that. She goes like, "Minion," whatever,
Yeah.
whatever she says. She's 2, and she wants to watch the guys. So, what's basically at the beginning of the movie? There's like the Universal logo. It's like da 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 da. But in the Minion movies, the Minions sing that part, so they
Oh,
go
it's
blah
beautiful.
blah blah blah, and it's just a cacophony of awfulness. And you're like, I got to sit through this. And they made 2 of those movies that are just Minions, and you're like, oh,
They made
boy,
2 of those? I
these
didn't
are-
even know that. I never got around to
Get-
watching either of them.
You're good. Get this: the first Minion movie, almost a decade old. If you really
Oh,
want
wow.
to feel old, I know it is.
I thought those
it
guys
is
just
quite shocking.
are like a recent fad. I guess I didn't realize they've been out for a while, yeah.
I mean, if you want to go even further back, Despicable Me is closer to 20 years old than 10 years old.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
I know. I
Yeah.
know. It is a disturbing thought. It's a
So-
disturbing thought.
Those guys though, yeah, they're pretty similar to those Rabbids.
Very similar.
Yeah, that it's like a chicken or the egg type of question. Like, is it a rabbit
Rabbits came
first,
first.
or was it
Rabbids came first.
Do you think there was
Yeah.
any influence on the minions from the Rabbids? Like, do you think
Oh, yeah.
DreamWorks knew what a
Yeah.
rabbit was? Do you think John
Well,
DreamWorks was like, oh, I want that, but yellow?
Kind of. Well, okay, let's get into it a little bit. Yeah, since we're talking about Minions. Ubisoft, they're French people, right? They make French things. Illumination, they are French people for the most part. Maybe there's some line there where you have one guy hip hop from the other side and goes like, "Hey, we did rabbits at this place. I'm taking my talents to Illumination. We're gonna make some yellow guys." Maybe that's what happened.
Wait.
I don't know.
So that kind of like almost brain rot humor. That's French humor?
Oh boy. I hope our French listeners out there, all of them, and we have the entire population of
Transylvania.
French Canada, Transylvania, listening to this. Hope they don't like have riots and.
Why?
No,
I'm just
create a
asking a
revolution.
legitimate question. That's French humor, is it?
I guess I thought French humor was just being rude. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know French people that much. I know one French person, and she's nice. So
Well, maybe it's not.
I don't- I-
then, mate. I thought their humor was like, not raising the white flag. I don't know.
dang,
It was like
get him.
an off
Get
day
'em.
for him. It's not
Get
raising
'em.
the white flag.
All right. Speaking of the white flag, we raised our freak flag and went to the good old game world. Huh? We saw each other.
Yeah.
It was a good time. We went to the new Game World location in our local town. Not gonna dox ourselves. LOL. But we looked at a bunch of fun games. We saw ODT for PlayStation.
It's a
ODT.
bad game. That's a really
Banger of a
stinky
game.
Yeah.
It's the Iggy's Wrecking Balls of the PS.
No. That game controls like dog water. It plays like dog water. It's bad. It's almost as unplayable as Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, we'll get into it. Okay, all right, we'll talk about that at some point. Oh man, I thought you could adapt to everything, man. I guess we'll get into it at some point. Just hold your horses. We're getting there. I promise. Anyway, we met up, said hi, looked at some video games, talked about freaking, I don't know, Bimini Run or whatever. We talked about old video games. We went like, yeah, that looks like a bad video game. We should get that, and then we just didn't.
Yeah.
But tell me what you got. What'd you get from there?
I got Metal Gear Solid Collection, PS3.
The one I got rid of, yes.
Yeah.
Easy coming to go.
I got Xenosaga Episode 1.
Yeah.
I haven't checked that game out yet. I've banned myself
okay.
from RPGs until I play that Bravely Default remake, so I don't get myself burnt out on them. And then,
sure. That's fair.
Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah, that's a good pickup.
And I picked up a PS2 controller, like a Sony one. I didn't have like an actual official Sony one. That's been working great. So.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that you didn't have an official. Okay.
Yeah, I had like a third-party one. It wasn't bad quality. I actually quite liked it. The main issue with it was that it didn't have any vibration, and a lot of those older like PS2 titles definitely like encourage you to have the vibration feature because that helps like time things and things like that. So.
Yep.
That's the biggest issue I had with it.
Getting that controller is very helpful. Because like you said, like especially in platformers back in the day, like there was like some interesting puzzles and jumping stuff that like Sly Cooper had a lot of rumble feature that you kind of had to have.
And did it for Monster Hunter Fishing. Monster Hunter Fishing is like nearly impossible without like some kind of rumble. Like you can do it, but you're just kind of guessing when the fish is gonna bite down instead of like knowing when the fish bites down because of the so.
Okay, so it's like playing without that rumble feature is like wearing the weights and then getting the rumble controllers like the weights off.
Yep. Yeah, it was so much easier.
You're the Rock Lee of PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
Rumble.
Yeah. I was like trying to catch fish in that game, and like it's the like timing based fishing to where like Animal Crossing to where like if you don't have your rumble on, like you're just not gonna catch the fish. Animal Crossing is the same exact way. Like you just sitting there waiting, and if it's like a rare fish that finally spawned for you and you don't catch it, like you want to like throw your console out a window.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Fishing. I love fishing mini games, but if they're not properly contextualized, have poor controls, or like kind of looks bad, everything needs to kind of work for a fishing game to work for me.
Yeah.
Most do because most people are good at making them, but there are some exceptions. Like Nier's fishing is bad.
Oh no! We don't even talk about Nier Automata fishing.
No.
Like. Or even just Nier.
So
I don't remember Nier Replicant either having good fishing, but Automata had really bad fishing. I remember
so
that.
bad. It's barely
Those-
a game. Barely a mini game.
Yeah, both of those have pretty bad fishing. The Animal Crossing fishing's good. I just it's just frustrating when you find like what looks like a rare fish and then you just don't catch it.
That or like, oh, I forgot to empty my pockets. Oh, this thing I caught, throw it back in the water, or get rid of something I need. You know, like I always say that.
Yeah,
Look at this oarfish. You can't put it in your pockets anymore.
You can just drop like stationery or like a tool or something. You can run back and grab it. That's not as big of a deal, I don't think.
But I'm playing a video game. Like, why have storage spots for me? Don't have me be encumbered or have storage spots for your stuff.
Oh, no. Don't take away don't dumb down my game, please. Don't do that to me. I want my storage spots. Encumbering, fine. Get rid of encumbering. Like, that mechanic kind of sucks. I'd agree with that. But
you're too heavy. You can't move.
Storage slots. Well, the only reason why I say encumbering is fine to get rid of is because you can work around it. Okay, Kat, you are scratching my leg. Holy crap. That really hurt. You can like get around encumbering, right? There's like tricks to be able to like quick travel and things like that, and like Skyrim and games like that. But that's just kind of annoying, I think. But storage slots do help to make a game have some modicum of gameplay, and for me, they help me organize what I'm doing in a game. Having limited inventory is like, okay, this is what I'm focused on doing in this game. I'm not doing anything else right now. I like my limited inventory. Don't take that away.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from. I definitely can. It depends on what it's implemented in, I think.
I've played
Bethesda RPGs having encumbrance is lame, for instance, you know.
I think they should have storage slots instead of encumbrance, personally. I think that'd be a more elegant
Yeah.
system.
Like, don't make me look at weights. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, don't make me look at weights.
Over
Yeah. I think in, like, FromSoft games it works because it's not inventory, it's equip load, so it's completely different. Like, that's your it's your character's, like... Now, Demon's Souls has actual encumbrance for items, like, in your inventory. I do remember that.
Yeah, that's right.
That game's so weird. What a weird game.
Yeah, that's
but notice,
the first thing we tackle, probably.
That's like the first thing they took out of those games when they switched to Dark Souls. They took out that weight system because it was bad. That's a bad system.
Yeah. But, you know, it can kind of be mitigated. It can be mitigated if you're just leveling one weapon. I mean, that's just the answer to that. I don't know. Yeah, Demon's Souls is just really punishing. But yeah, so, you know, you got that stuff from Game World, kind of going back to it. And I only got a couple things because the wife was like, "We're spending too much money." I'm like, "Okay." Because we spent a lot of money on stuff. Yeah, but, I mean, not to be too TMI, it was a very expensive trip. It was very expensive. We had a good time. We were having like anniversary celebrations and stuff. So, basically, I had a copy of Shadow of the Colossus and I put it down because I'm like, I might own this on PS3 already. I can't remember, so I'm like, I don't know if I should pick this up.
Yeah,
because I think I might have this already. This not the PS2 version, but like the better PS2 version.
Don't play that PS2 version.
But
oh my gosh, don't play that PS2 version.
Well, we will get into it because yes, you were having a time with that for sure. But my pickups, I got Sneak King, the Burger King game. It was like $3 or $4. That game is actually not bad. I like that game a fair bit. It's not a good game, but it's not a bad game. It's a gimmick game. It's a meme game. You know, it's fun. The king is creepy. I want to actually play a fair amount of it before I like talk about it at some amount of length. Not too long because it's sneaking. But I got that, and then I got Folklore for the PS3. It's a pseudo. It's like a Western style JRPG. It's hard to explain. It's got like a lot of Japanese role playing feel to it, but like I don't know, the structure of it's very Western RPG, very linear. It kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy 13 a little bit. So, I've yet to really get into that. I started it just to make sure the disc worked, you know. Um,
Wait,
but
which one's 13?
13 is with lightning.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I had a
Yeah.
brain fart. I'm like, wait, which one's 13?
No, yeah, you're fine. And that was, you know, it was fairly pricey because it's, you know, it's not like a rare game, but it's a game that, you know, there's not a lot of, you know. It's not like rare, the rarest thing in the world. But I saw it, I was like, oh, I've been looking for this. This is a disc only game on here. I will buy this.
Yeah,
And,
there's
I'm excited to.
There's a lot of like those HD era RPGs that kind of went on rails. Like that was like the thing to do.
Yeah.
They were like, our players don't know how to navigate maps. They just know how to click yes. So we'll have
like
them
that.
on
That was the
rails.
PS3. That was the PS3 360 era. Like Eternal Sonata's this way, Blue Dragon's this way, Lost Odyssey in some ways this way. Very nice looking games with like not a ton of excuse me, not a ton of like not a ton of like discoverability in the world, I guess. So yeah, I got that stuff. I might crack into Folklore at some point. It's one of those back burner things I'll probably touch at some point. But yeah. Other than that, you gave me a TV. You know, I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, gave me what's the size of it? How big is that thing?
I never miniatured it. I'd say it's probably like an 18-inch. That sounds
You think it's
right,
18? Okay.
right?
Okay, I believe that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I haven't measured either.
It's not too heavy though.
No, I picked it up over my shoulder and took it to my basement.
Yeah.
I'm loading
Yeah.
the car the other day, so it's not heavy at all. But yeah, I got that set up for some weekend stuff. That's gonna be fun. I'm excited to crack into it. But yeah, we had a good time. We hung out. We met a cool guy there at the store. He had a couple of cool games. Beautiful Joe 1 and 2, and one or
Yeah,
two
he
more
was
things.
a
And we talked
brave man collecting GameCube. That's
I
brave.
know. Yeah. I saw that. I was like, "You're never completing that collection, dog." You know.
Oh man,
Uh,
GameCube. That's
yeah.
a rough one to collect for.
It is. All the prices are crazy on those things, like we've definitely talked about. But
PS2 and PS1
yeah.
are even kind of crazy, to be honest. Like I've been doing it for a while, and I never imagined the prices of those systems would be so high.
Yeah, 3DS is kind of tough to get sometimes too. It depends on what you're getting.
Yeah.
Just like things are pricey, especially when they have the boxes.
Well, the
if
early
you were to get
3DS
just,
games
like-
weren't very popular either. So
Yeah.
like, because
So they didn't make a ton of
wasn't-
them.
Yeah, it wasn't popular early on. So
For sure. Yeah, just game collecting in general is a pretty pricey hobby. You try to do any other hobby, you're like, man, this is cheap in comparison to what I actually like doing.
I don't know. Magic the Gathering's kind of pricey too.
Yeah, maybe that too. Again, it depends on what you're in. Like, for instance, like, okay, so Gundam can be expensive, but like Gundam is pretty cheap
Yeah, Gundam's not
in
bad.
comparison. Yeah, in comparison to like a video game hobby
Mhm.
of buying things,
Yeah.
you're just like $20 for a set, sure, and I'm gonna get hours
Yeah.
of enjoyment putting this together. Yeah, 100%. It's definitely worth it. I have a bunch of sets downstairs I need to build. I'm trying to finish my basement to like make it so I can do stuff.
I've got a couple of sets I need to put together yet. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Maybe we can get on a call and just bust out a couple. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. But yeah, after the IRL stuff, or well, I guess before that, before we kind of embarked on our trip to Missouri, we watched Excalibur for Tape Stuck. That was a fun time. Merlin
That's a cool
had
movie.
the chrome do-rag on,
He
or
did
whatever.
the chrome helmet.
Chrome helmet. He talks like this. My name is Merlin.
Oh, I'm talking in riddles, so you can't hear me and understand me. Ho,
Yeah.
ho, ho.
The dragon is tempting you. The dragon. Blah, 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 blah.
I like him.
Uh.
I know you don't like him. I like him.
I think Merlin is a sap.
I like saps.
He could be better. Yeah, listen, I like a good sap too. I like a good sap, but Merlin's a little much for me. Maybe on a new watch of it.
Yeah, I bet the next time you watch it, he'll kind of grow on you. You'll be like, oh, okay, this wasn't so bad. You watch it like a couple months from now, a year from now.
I find that that's how I am as a person, though. When once I square the reality of something and I understand that it's a thing.
Yeah.
It's the Jar Jar Binksification of things in media, where you're just I'm dealing with this now. This is the reality of this. I guess I have to be okay with this because it's in here.
Everyone hated Jar Jar Binks, but now everyone's like, okay, Jar Jar Binks was better than what we got from Disney, so we're okay with Jar Jar Binks.
He's Darth Jar Jar in the Fortnite Battle Pass. That's how far we've come.
Yeah, we like Jar Jar Binks now.
What? Wheeze is strong. we is strong.
You said don't like Jar Jar Binks?
No, I said don't. I don't know how to respond to that. He gave executive powers to Space Hitler. What are we doing?
Yeah, well, Jar Jar Binks, that the whole Star Wars was about Jar Jar Binks the whole time. It all revolves around Jar Jar Binks, so.
He's the key to all of this.
He is.
Shut up, dude. Shut up. What are you talking about?
He's brilliant! He's so brilliant.
Yeah, I love watching those. Have you seen the behind the scenes for any of those movies? Especially one.
Yes.
Oh my god, dude.
I love
Seeing everybody's face after one is over, everyone's like...
what did we do? How did this go so wrong?
Yeah, and George Lucas is like, I could have trimmed it up in a couple places, and I was like, what? It's busted.
Trim the whole movie.
Okay, so to preface this, I like the prequels.
Yeah,
for the most part, I think 1 is an okay movie. It's not very good. 2 is almost downright bad in some ways, but 3 is great.
Yes.
So
3 brings it all.
Basically,
together.
1 and 2 are almost so perfunctory. You only need the back half of 2 and then all of 3 to make any sense of it.
3 is such a good movie.
3 is the most essential Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
I will say that to anybody. Yeah. To anybody, even over 4, 5, and 6, it is the most essential. It tells you everything about the most important event in Star Wars history. And it ties both ends of the saga together.
Yep.
And I think it does a really good job with that. Especially in visual storytelling. Where, you're seeing uniforms change, you're seeing vehicles change. You'll see, a chicken walker or whatever for a clone. You're like, that became an ATST. Stuff like that. Yep. I love that sort of thing. It's so cool. But I digress, obviously. Star Wars 3 is a favorite of mine. But...
it's a good movie.
But yeah, we've been talking about some stuff on Tape Stuck. We're taking about a week break on that to kind of just do some personal stuff here and there and kind of get our bearings and attack Samurai Champloo after that. So yeah, 1 week hiatus on that because we've been doing it pretty much every week since we started it. So
yeah, we've got a good catalog there. So catch up while you can.
Yeah, catch up while the catching is good.
There's a lot of good stuff.
But yeah,
on
there we have watched some good stuff. Yeah. I will say.
And we're gonna watch more good stuff because I'm gonna get you to watch something like Welcome to NHK or Last Exile at some point because those are 2 phenomenal Studio Gonzo anime.
Okay.
So
I think okay, if I'm mapping this out in my head, I'm gonna be honest with you. The one I want you to watch next is Paprika. That has to happen.
Sure. I'm cool with that.
We loved Perfect
I'll go pick
Blue.
it up from my local entertainment mart. I've seen it there.
Yeah, you should definitely pick that up at some point.
Yeah.
We'll get through the next 2 episodes of Champloo. For the podcast anyway. We'll cover the first and second halves.
Yep.
And then I think we might do Paprika.
Yeah.
I remember liking Paprika even more. So, yeah, that sounds like a plan to me. But let's talk about some new video games. What do you say?
We like video
I think
games.
that's good. Let's start with you. You brought this up before we started, and this is something I saw too. You've been keeping up with Guilty Gear Strive as you do.
Yeah.
Who's this new character? What's the deal? I don't know much about this character.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know much about this character either. It's the sort of character that you have to... The whole point of the character is go watch the anime. I have not gone and watched the anime yet. they made a Guilty Gear anime. I think it's still airing right now, and it revolves around the new character Unica. Like, she's like kind of the main character of the anime, from what I understand. Like, all the other Guilty Gear characters are there hanging out, you know. But the whole, like, it's all like based around Unica and Sin Kisuke. I think those are like the main two characters. Okay. They looked at Street Fighter 6, right? And they were like, "Oh, passing the torch. Let's try that." So they have, you know, Sin Kisuke, which was always supposed to be like a mesh between the two pro tags of Guilty Gear, Kai Kisuke and Soul Bad Guy, because he's Kai Kisuke's son, raised by his essentially grandfather, Soul Bad Guy, and so he kind of has like things from both of them. So he's kind of like a mesh between the two. And then Unica, just from what I know of her moveset, is a lot like a almost like a heavier, more ranged focused Kai Kisuke. So she has a lot of moves that she borrows from Kai Kisuke. And she even like pulls out his sword at like during one of her moves, so that probably has something to do with the anime that I haven't watched yet. But she goes like Super Saiyan mode, and she like sends the opponent up in the air. You can like freely like fly around and hit your opponent in the air and like do combos in the air, and then you come down with like a slam move and slam your opponent into the ground. It's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah. It's something they hadn't ever done before, so...
Slamming fools is cool in fighting games. I recommend it.
Yeah. So, it's a cool character. I like the design. I'm a Kai Kisuke main, always have been, so... Give me another Kai Kisuke? Sure, why not? I already played Sin Kisuke. I played Robo Kai in the older games, so...
Yeah, I like Kai Kisuke's sword. It looks really cool. It reminds me of what's his name? Is it Arthur from Fire Force?
Yeah, yep. I've been watching that too. I've been keeping up on that season 3 of Fire Force. That's been pretty good.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Is it still pretty fan servicey? First season was.
Oh yeah. Super fan servicey. Okay. Mainly just the one girl, the Lucky Lecture girl.
Right. Yeah. I liked. I watched all of season 1 and really liked it a fair bit.
Mm-hmm. It's got some cool characters though.
Fire.
I like Benimaru. He's pretty cool.
Benimaru's sick. Yeah. And
Joker's
I like
cool.
main character.
Shinra. Maybe that's his name. Shinra or
Shinra. Yeah, that's his name. Yeah. He's cool. I like the whole like jetting on his feet thing.
It's cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
he's
I need
got
to get back to
the like devil motif to him, kind of like Asta from Black Clover. I really like Black Clover. If you haven't checked out Black Clover, you definitely need to check that out. That's an awesome show.
I've been trying to get through a bunch of other random stuff in there.
Black Clover's fairly long. It's almost 200 episodes, I think. But
I mean, I haven't watched One Piece in like a month and a half. It's been a long time, so I haven't even been watching anything. I mean, I've been just so busy with life. So, but I need to get
Black Clover's just been on my mind because the anime TCG I play, Union Arena, just released their Black Clover expansion. So they got a bunch of Black Clover cards in there now. I got the starter deck for it. It's pretty cool.
Gotcha. So, I guess I mean, depending on how much you want to talk more about Unica, is she basically created for the show? Do you understand? Is that right?
Yeah, or she's never been introduced before the show, but I also think that they're using the show to bring new players into the game, right? Because it's going to be it's like on Crunchyroll, and so they get all those Crunchyroll anime fans looking at their game and like, oh, this game looks cool. Unica herself is actually a pretty easy to control character. They designed her to be, you know, a nice, you know, get into the game sort of character. So if people, you know, see her in the show and they're like, she looks cool, I want to play her in the game, they can just jump right in, and she's pretty easy to control. She's the type that's like, you know, going to be a low skill floor but a high skill ceiling, I think. So that's a nice thing to have in a game like that. That has a lot of like technical characters as well. But yeah, it's I expect that the next Guilty Gear is not going to be Soul Bad Guy or Kai Kisuke on the cover. It's most likely going to be Unica and a Sin Kisuke on the cover of that thing.
Okay.
That's what I would expect.
They're going to combat kids it up with, like, in Mortal Kombat 10, they basically did a passing of the torch thing before they decided to pull back on that. And they basically gave the reins to, like, the new batch of kids. Yeah.
I'm expecting it to be more like Street Fighter 6, where your Ryu and your Ken are still there, your Soul Bad Guy and Kai Kisuke are still there, playable, whatever. They might have new redesigns that make them look older, but the passing of the torch thing would happen, and you would have your kids, your newer characters. Apparently, Bridget is also like an important part of the anime, and she is like was like a minor character in the lore until like this recent game. She's been kind of amping up into more of the limelight of like the actual like storyline of Guilty Gear. So she'll probably be like another like kid that's propped up to be a major like character. So
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So are you gonna watch the anime at some point here?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I just
you love some Guilty Gear.
Yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it. Is all.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I need to get back into Strive, and I want to learn it. I just want to like get in the lab with it and just learn the regular combat strings. And I was doing that a little bit, and I got to
do some just friendlies. I can like play an off character, maybe help you learn some of the mechanics unique to the game.
Yeah, definitely. I would love that. I've been dabbling with that off and on, where I can, just to get the basics down,
Yeah.
Because the tutorials are really good.
It's also got a awesome 3v3 tag team game mode in there.
Yeah, I saw that.
So I've got plenty of friends that play it. So if you're interested in that, I can grab another person. We can hop in on.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I love me a tag fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually playing Capcom versus SNK 2 EO, Mark of the Millennium.
That's the good one. That's the one we like.
Because I love that game, and it came out on that Capcom Arcade Classics Volume 2 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's just that game is just so.
Did you see any of my characters? Did any of my characters pop up like Athena or Sakura?
I fought an Athena. Yes,
yeah.
I fought an Athena.
Athena was.
I fought a Sakura.
Character. Yep.
Definitely fought a Sakura. I'm trying to remember another.
Athena's a weird pick because she's not from like King of Fighters or anything like that. She's from like her own series. They had like a Japan exclusive PS1 adventure game, and that's what she's from.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, and
Capcom's done weird stuff like that though, where
that's SNK.
They basically. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Capcom SNK. They've dabbled in that. Capcom made a 2D side-scrolling Aliens licensed game, for instance, that never got re-released, and it's very similar to that situation where they just had like a character like never appear in anything else.
Yep.
It's like Alien. Yeah.
I don't think the game ever got translated either. I looked for like a fan translation of Athena and I never found it, so I just
okay
gonna have to play that game raw if I want to try that game out. I've thought about it.
Playing it raw. Yeah. I guess. Yeah, that's a good segue. I guess I played about an hour of that. I was checking out the package of that thing. It's really cool. There's like a lot of interesting stuff in there. They don't have like rival schools, which they should. That's where like Sakura is from a little bit too.
Yep.
Project Justice, the sequel's in there though.
Mm-hmm.
They have weird like Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, I think it's called, or
that's
Street Fighter 2 Upper or whatever it's called. I forget which one it is.
3 Upper is the Game Boy Advance version.
That's okay, so version. They have that version in there for some. It feels like a throw-in.
It's because it has more characters than base Alpha.
Okay. I didn't know what the inherent difference of
Yes.
those are. But it feels like the Dreamcast, porting collection, with all the plasma swords on that thing. It's kind of interesting.
Plasma Sword is a
But
cool game.
Plasma Sword is a cool game. It was going to be a Star Wars licensed game until they lost it.
Yep.
And
It's
it's kind of like what happened with
the-
Excalibur, where they were going to make a Lord of the Rings movie and they lost
Yeah.
the license and decided to make that. So
Yeah, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Plasma Sword is interesting because that's like the only weapon fighter that Capcom ever did.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean it's the only Soul Calibur type thing
Yeah.
they have ever dabbled in, really.
it's supposed to be
I mean,
really
they
good.
have-
I've never gotten around to playing it, but I've seen gameplay of it. And it looks really cool.
Yeah, I wish it was crossplay. It's not. When I get a PC, I'll play with.
Yeah.
I'll play with.
I'll play all those fighting
Capcom versus
games
SNK.
with you.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
we just love those Capcom fighting games just in general. So.
Ugh. But Capcom versus SNK is like top 5
Yeah.
for me. It's up there.
I want to play
I
Darkstalkers.
love it.
I never got around to playing Darkstalkers.
Mhm.
That seems like a cool
And so
game.
like, yeah. Like Capcom's been in the business recently of putting out all these classics. Like,
Yep.
there's the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 or whatever they call it. It's not Capcom like beat 'em up collection, whatever they call that thing. There's like another version of these things, but it has like the Darkstalker games.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's really good. It's the really good versions of those games, obviously,
Yep.
Because they're the arcade ports. And they've just been killing it with the collections lately. I want them to do like the Mega Man Legends stuff. That'd be cool. Because they've
Yeah.
pretty much done.
Give us
They've
Tron
done most of
Bond.
the Mega Man. Yeah, I don't know how they would package that. Maybe they would just put that in like a Legends bundle and throw that. in.
Yeah,
That'd be cool.
they would need to.
Um,
That game needs a re-release desperately.
I've always wanted to play Misadventures of Tron Bond.
Mhm.
But yeah, just like that, Capcom, like even with the turn of the 3D game, like all their games are not perfect in that style, but like you can see they're just so strong on the design front. Those games are just solid coming out of the box or in the arcade. You're just like, man, Plasma Sword is just a good game. Like even though it doesn't have that great 2D art that you want, it still holds up in its own way.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that collection, whatever it's called, I think it's like Fighting Collection 2. I'm being irresponsible by not looking it up. It's really really good. And yeah, it's Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics was the recent one they put out. Before this, that has like Marvel vs. Capcom and then Capcom 2, all that stuff.
Capcom 3 is a really good game.
Yeah, it's really
Marvel
good.
vs.
And the
Capcom
one
3,
that I
that's
was
an
talking
incredible
about
game.
is right. Capcom Fighting Collection 2 is the most recent. Is what the name is. So, with all the other stuff I mentioned before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I dabbled into it. I watched a lot of video of it. It's very good versions of those games. Highly recommend you guys pick those up. I think it's better than even the first fighting collection that they put out because it's games I personally love
Oh yeah.
even more.
Yeah,
But
we
yeah,
were
that's
we
pretty
were
much
always
a
more
quick-
into
quick
the
thing.
like crossover fighters,
Yeah.
just because they had so many characters that were like interesting and unique. So you and I played a lot of the
Yeah.
crossover ones, like the Marvel versus Capcom and the Marvel versus SNK. We always found like a lot of cool characters we liked. Like you really liked Terry Bogard, for instance.
I love Terry Bogard. Yeah.
He made
I
it
like
into
how
Smash.
yeah, he made it Smash. I like how they've mapped him on a Smash and he still works. It feels
Yeah.
like
Yep.
you're doing Terry Bogard moves in Smash. It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it's really fun.
with
All
honestly
those
less input.
fighting game input characters are really fun in Smash Bros. I like playing all
Yeah.
of them. It just
Yeah,
makes me
playing
feel like
like
I'm playing
Ryu.
a actual fighting game.
Totally. Playing like Ryu is like just putting on a warm blanket. You're like, I know how
Yeah.
this is.
Yeah,
I can
Yeah,
do
if you-
I can do a Hadouken. Yeah.
yeah. If you played a 2D fighter, you know how to play Ryu. Like that's just how that is. Like you don't even have to
Yeah.
play like Street Fighter to know how to play Ryu. Like, oh yeah, I'm doing a quarter circle. Oh yeah, I'm doing a quarter circle back. You know it. That's just how it is.
His recovery in Smash is not good, but his fighting is good.
It's weird. I at one point I was able to do it all right, but
Okay. It's like a short recovery. It's like a
yeah,
like a upper.
yeah,
Um,
it's hard to input a little bit
it is.
without
It is when
fast
you're
falling
falling.
on accident. Yeah, same thing with
Yep,
the
100%.
Terry one. The Terry one is like you have to lightly tap down and then quickly tap up in order to do the full range.
Oh
of his,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
of his
I
like
think that's why I stopped.
upward kick thing he does for recovery. So
Right. I think that's why I stopped playing Terry for a while because of that. I was just like,
yeah,
oh,
like you can do up
this is-
B, but like you don't get as much distance compared to
Yep.
doing the fighting input. So
Right. But yeah, that's really the quick hit on that. I don't want to spend too much time on it. More time on it. It's worth the pickup. The game I wanted to come in here and talk about that I never got a chance to because we were out of town was Deliver at All Costs. It's basically a delivery game, an isometric delivery game from Konami, from a first-time studio, the name of which is escaping me right now. But it's a game I'm probably going to touch and talk about next week in our big Switch 2 Bonanza, just as kind of like my other thing, But that just came out. I bought it. I just haven't really put hands on it like that. But yeah, like besides that, I reviewed Clair Obscur on my Substack. It's a fantastic game. I will be doing a voiced review here very, very soon. This week, probably tomorrow. Honestly, I will record that. And I'm writing currently the Doom: The Dark Ages review. I will get into that in just a second, just like my grand thoughts on that. And then finally, like I had this topical post I want to put up on our stuff and then on my Substack about the great games media contraction. Kind of talking about how things have changed when it comes to people being served throughout different mediums like news and like video game coverage. Like for instance, like how has it changed? Where do we go from here? What are the major players these days in the video games media space? The idea of that is fascinating to me. It's basically called the Great Games Media Industry Contraction, or how I learned to love paying for video game coverage. It's not going to be a whole title, but that's the main idea. So I'm working on that. It's kind of on the brain a lot because of all the moving and shaking of like Polygon and Giant Bomb and all that stuff. So it's stuff I'm kind of thinking about pretty frequently. But that's stuff I'm working on in the writing space. I will bring it up here when I'm done with it. This is kind of like I write it out and then I kind of like talk about it here. That's kind of been my process the last couple months, is figuring that stuff out, and then just after putting pen to paper or fingers to keyboard, I come here and have firm ideas on what I want to talk about. But yeah, in talking about Doom: The Dark Ages, I wanted to kind of go at length about it, if that's all right with you. I beat that game. I beat Doom: The Dark Ages. It did not take me very long. Not because it's not a long game, it's because I couldn't stop playing it. I'm going to be honest with you. So your history with the Doom reboots is you played the first one, right?
yes, that's the only one I played.
Okay.
I played it on Switch.
Yeah, it's a great port of that game, honestly. It's not like the most highest fidelity thing, but it runs really well for what it is, and it's a good port of a great game. I will say the first one is still my personal favorite because it had the biggest impact on me. I think the music is the best in that one. I think the story is the best in that one. The combat they got right so immediately from the jump. I think it's hard to top. And I don't think they top it in Doom: The Dark Ages. They just do different things. Okay? Yeah. What do I mean by this? So for some reason, I'm not sure why they decided to do these things. They wanted to reinvent the wheel of the Doom combat loop with every successive iteration. So the first one is kind of just like run and gun, regular Doom, like it's like old Doom with the flair and like the glory kills and all that stuff.
Those are fun, yeah.
Yeah, right. But it's like a very polished, pristine distillation of the ideas of old Doom, kind of put together with a really solid core loop and fantastic soundtrack to kind of back it all up. That Doom soundtrack is just unbelievable. Um, and then you have Doom Eternal, which is like a rigorous, exhausting roller coaster ride of very specific movements to kind of like train the player to have fun. It's very Sekiro this way, where if you do not utilize your tool set properly and specifically, you are not going to have fun and you're not going to succeed. You have to do what the game wants you to do. There is almost no player expression in that game, for good or for bad. But if you are along for the ride and trust the creators, um, you will have a good time. And once you get the flow down, you get into a flow state, and it's some of the most exhilarating gameplay you can have in video games. I think Doom Eternal plays phenomenally, is amazing in its like combat depth and specificity, and I talk about it a little bit in my review recently. And I just think it's really really good. It's maybe the most like intense of all of these games, all these reboot series. And you kind of see like every successive Doom game in this reboot trilogy is a response to the previous one. So like the first one, they made it. So they made it. It was good to go. Like I feel like they succeeded more on the first one than they did in the second and third. The second one was like in response to one, where it's like, hey, people were only using one gun. We're going to make it so you utilize every gun and you rotate and you have this core loop of like getting ammo, shields, and health and all this stuff. And you have to constantly be on the run. The Doom: The Dark Ages is like a further response to Eternal now, where it's not as breakneck. You're missing some like locomotion moves, like there's no dash, there's no double jump. There's like they changed some core concepts here, and the story reasons for doing so is, first off, it's a prequel. It's like it takes place before the Doom, basically the first Doom 2016 reboot. Like it takes place in the past before he gets locked away in his casket. I mean, to be specific, it happens before even that, and like right after Doom 64, if we want to be specific. Like the Doom guy comes from Doom 64 to Doom the Dark Ages, then 2016 to Eternal in its DLC. That's kind of the timeline of modern Doom with the Doom guy. But basically, like, there's a lot that they have responded to when it comes to Doom: The Dark Ages. But I think everything that they do, I don't know. I feel like the loop here is the best they have devised yet. I just think it's just really fun to play. It's one of the best shooter campaigns I have played in a fair bit, in terms of just what you're doing, what you're seeing, how you're interacting with the environment, what guns you're shooting. Like, it's just a very fun, chunky game to play. I love the way this game feels. There's a real weight to this game and everything that you're doing into it.
So are the guns more primitive, or are they like your typical?
They kind of are.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I kind of like that. They're explaining like, why don't you have this weapon? This, like, it's all like, oh, because it's old, so things are different. Mm-hmm. There's like this like retro futuristic technology. It's like a techno medieval aesthetic that you get here, where you got the Doom guy, he's got the shotgun, and there's like energy weapons and stuff, but he's got a fur cape on. And so like I've heard people talking about like the kit of Eternal being like every gun is a key for that game, where to interact and to solve combat puzzles, you need to use different keys for different parts of the puzzle. So for instance, like you're using this specific weapon to target this specific weakness on this enemy to take them out because they are the most dangerous. Basically, Doom: The Dark Ages has put all its kit, for the most part, into the shield implement that you have. So the shield is capable of doing multiple things, instead of having your whole arsenal being different sets of keys. That's what it feels like. So you are using your shield for different things, like you're using it to throw, you're using it to block, to basically bull rush. Like, you're doing a million things with it, and it feels very essential. It feels like I don't know. It feels like it's so essential. I would hate to see a Doom game without it now. That's how good it feels. The moniker for this game is Stand and Fight, which is you're doing a fair amount of that, where you are literally on a battlefield. There's swaths of enemies around you. Just honestly, on screen, there's like 50 to 100 enemies at any given time. It's kind of amazing looking, and it runs so well. Like the load times in this thing, I cannot even stress. You are on the start screen, and I'm playing on PS5, base PS5. It has been so well optimized and runs so well. You button in, you are in the mission in 3 seconds. I counted it. I timed it. It's kind of shocking how quick it is. It's just like crystal pristine. It's the best distillation of a game on a console. It runs so well and it looks fantastic. But basically, you're instead of like these puzzle arenas, you have these wide open swaths of battlefield that you are kind of fighting in, and you're just like mowing down waves and waves of enemies. It's not as relentless as Eternal is, and it's not as fast as Eternal is, but it's still like really engaging because you're basically like bobbing and weaving through it feels like a slow motion bullet hell sometimes, where there's like a bunch of like color coded energy coming at you, and when you see like green waves of energy, you can parry back that attack, like hit the enemy that basically dealt that damage to you, and just the loop of getting in close, like you're right, like face to face with these demons. It really feels like it. You are just beating the shit out of these things, and you're blocking where you can, you're throwing where you need to. There's just a really nice heft, weight, and chunk to the Doom Slayer here, and in the story, basically like I'll kind of get into my thoughts of like what I think about the quality of the story is compared to the original, because I think I prefer some things that the first one does. Anyway, you're basically like a one-man army, and it feels that way. You are just mowing through so many demons here, so many, and like I love the lore of like, it's not like, oh, these armies of hells, they are scared of nobody. They make it very clear in the lore for these reboots that the Doomslayer is a bad motherfucker, and he's gonna kill everybody, and everyone's scared of him. Like the demons are scared of him. In the Slayer's Testaments for Doom 2016, there's like these rocks you can basically button into that are these like journal entries, and they'll talk to you and say, well, they'll like have these recitations where it's like this spooky campfire tale of the legend of the Doomslayer, where he's like, and he rushed across the battlefield like a hellion and destroyed everybody, and we must shake in fear. Like it feels like that, the game, where they are terrified of you, and you are just you're a one-man army. It really feels that way. And yeah, you're bobbing and weaving, going left and right, up and down. Whenever you jump off of a high ledge, you do this like ground slam that kills enemies upon impact with like the shock wave. So everything you do has a great sound to it, a great heft. It just feels so good to play. So good. Eternal's really tight, but this game is just on another level.
Yeah, I think Close Quarters, that sounds like the right evolution for that game, focusing more on like getting the player in the face of the demons, because that was like one of the like fan favorite features of the remake, and Eternal was like the glory kills, right? People loved those, and so like making the whole game, like making a game that just focuses on that aspect of getting in the face of the demons, I think that's a good direction for a game. I'd imagine they probably won't do that for the next one, right? This is just sort of a sort of an experiment almost, or like a just like a one-off thing to have an interesting and different approach to that classic Doom gameplay of like, yeah, we're just gonna put you in the face of these demons for like the whole game. That's what it's sounding like to me.
Yeah, you're like getting right up on these fools, and you're blasting with the shotgun. And the super shotgun has never been better because of it. Like you are really, you're basically like ballroom dancing with demons. Like that's really what it feels like. You are up in their guts, just destroying them. There's a lot of guts. This game is very cartoonishly violent. There are some things I don't like about this game that I prefer in the other games. So, for instance, I think this game, the color palette is really muted in a way that kind of, I don't know. I'm not sure quite how I feel about it yet. I don't think I like it as much, but I think Doom Eternal was too far. I feel like Doom Eternal was neon Looney Tunes all the time. Like everything was neon, neon, neon. It feels like they got too far away from that in this, where everything's kind of very brown with like, I don't know, like headlights. It feels like, or like highlights, energy highlights. But the first one I feel like toes that line perfectly. It's like the perfect mix. And also the lore is like really serious here. Like, okay, so the thing that I love the most about Doom 2016, in terms of a tone level, is how irreverent the Doomslayer is. He doesn't care what you're saying to him. You could complain about demonic infestation happening, whatever. You know, you can put a computer screen in front of him. He's going to punch it. Like, the dude does not care. Like, there's an irreverence. There is a tweeness to the Doomslayer that I really appreciate. That they're getting away from a little bit in his character. And maybe it's because it's a prequel. It's not as pronounced yet because he hasn't gone through a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I feel like the character is not there like that. And maybe, like I said, maybe it's because it is a prequel. I don't know. But Eternal gets serious in its story, whereas the first one's like, hey, we have a story. The cutscenes are silly. You're gonna make fun of it, whatever. But like, if you look at the codexes, codices or whatever, there's a lot of like stuff that we wrote for this game. Like, hey, this is what is happening right now. If you pay attention, these are the Sentinels, whatever you want to say. And then Eternal like basically takes all the story out of the codexes, puts them on screen in front of you, and goes like, we're going to tell a serious story about Doom guy, and he's a little funny but not really. And then in Doom the Dark Ages, it's like everything is deathly serious. We're all gonna die. Doomslayer is a badass, and nobody's having a good time. Like, there's not a tinge of mirth to the Doomslayer here, and maybe that's intentional. But it's one of those bits of characterization I missed that I think the first one does really well. This game didn't take me long to finish. It took me only like, what was it? Maybe 10, 11 hours, maybe. It's a very good campaign. It's like 20 some odd missions. You're doing a lot of interesting stuff in this game besides fighting in, regular first-person encounters. You have a dragon you're flying around. And there's interesting like flying segments, which is kind of cool.
They're copying Drakengard.
It's like what if Drakengard was Punch Out? Like, it feels that way. You're like bobbing and weaving energy attacks, sort of thing. And you're literally doing Punch Out in the next segment where you play as, you get into this mech, mech, and you're literally doing Punch Out moves where you're bobbing and weaving and boom, 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 fill up this meter, knock them out, sort of thing. They're nice, like, cinematic breaks from like that real action that you're coming for, but it's still interesting to see all the stuff they came up with for it. It's not like a mixed bag for me. I loved this game. I thought it was really good. Yeah. I think when they get serious, it becomes less fun for me, though. Like, the story of Doom, does anybody care about that? Like, genuinely, not really. The fun novelty in the first reboot was like, hey, there's a lot of story in here if you know where to look, but it's not getting in the way of my time, Like, they're doing a lot of work to go, like, there's lore here, man, and we're showing you it. And it's just like,
look at our lore. Enjoy our lore.
Basically, it feels like you can have dessert if you eat your veggies. Like, that's how it feels.
I ran into this when I was running a D&D campaign recently. I had like this character group, and I like developed like this. I thought it was a little bit interesting of a backstory for this faction of characters, NPCs, and I introduced my party to the faction, and they're kind of like yes, so would you like to know a little bit more about our organization here? And the entire party's like, no, not really. And it's like, oh, okay, cool.
That's gonna hurt. I mean, all this.
It wasn't. I didn't put too much effort into it, to be honest. It wasn't a big deal, but like,
Still, it's just one of those things. You're just like, I put some amount of time in this. But like, yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like none of their characters would have really like cared to know. I guess.
Sure.
That maybe that's fine. Maybe I thought
Yeah.
maybe one of their characters would like care out of like a curiosity, but it is what it is. But it's just like one of those things where it's like, yeah, I mean, you know, you can have all the lore you want, but whether your players are interested in that or not, you can really bog down a system or a game or anything like that by trying to force those kind of interactions on the player, right? And so I just, you know, in my case, I was just like, yeah, okay, that's fine, we'll just move on. Like, and it wasn't a big deal, but
yeah,
it's,
that's a sad state of affairs, I will say,
Eh.
especially because I've been in that situation where I'm just like, I know you built something for me. I don't know if I want to look at that, and that's a bummer because I know you put some time into it, you know.
Yeah. But I'm the same with games. Like, if a game's trying to like force me into caring about something I just don't care about, no,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna care. Cutscene skipped. Like, if your cutscene isn't like interesting, engaging, if it's just like staring at some woman's feet, like, I'm just gonna skip that thing. I don't care.
What, Stellar Blade isn't for you then? I mean, no gooners allowed.
Yeah, I always skip the opening cutscene of Monster Hunter Rise. I have a friend that gets upset about that because he likes the anime girl's feet and that.
Oh, sure, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. But you know, just kind of like finishing. I guess a couple thoughts about Doom: The Dark Ages. I really liked it. I think it is the strongest gameplay wise of the series for sure. People might prefer Eternal. I think the rigidness of Eternal lends to a skills ceiling that most people won't attain. It's a tougher game inherently because of that to get into and play. And Doom: The Dark Ages drops that barrier by making it a lot easier. Like, so easy, in fact, that they patched the game to make it harder. They felt like they put the regular difficulty. Was
Like,
too easy.
oops.
Right, and they do have difficulty sliders and like parry window, you know, leveling or whatever you want to say. You know, your sliders are there if you want it. You know.
Yep.
So having that option there is interesting, but
Sekiro's kind of like that. You can
a little
you can
bit.
have like an item
Yeah.
that you can pick up and it doesn't really
Yep.
benefit you. In fact, it hinders you. But you can just make those parry windows like non-existent if you wish to. That's
gotta
like
be
a
right
horrible
on
way
it,
to
you know?
play that game, but sure, go for it if that's your
Yeah,
thing.
it is not a good way to play that game. I love Sekiro, but yeah, not a good way to play that game. And yeah, Clair Obscur is that way too with its parry system. And it's kind of funny because like coming from Clair Obscur to this, like you're doing so many parries, like it was cake to parry in this game compared to Clair Obscur. But yeah, I really like this game a lot. It's one of my favorite things I played this year for sure. I will go back and do everything in it because like the completion list is not bad at all. It's really easy. It's basically like beat the game and get all the stuff. And I love when games do that. It's a good like game to put on a podcast for. And I kind of did that a little bit because I guess my final thought on this thing is like the music is just pretty unremarkable, I would say. It's the first game to have almost no involvement with Mick Gordon, the guy who did the first one and the second one of the Doom series. He got fired at some point during Eternal's development, or maybe the end of it, or he wasn't able to mix it right or something. He complained about Eternal for some reason, but like his core instrumentation and musical composition is there. It's just he couldn't like finish it because of some strife with upper management at id Software. But that's why I love the first one so much. It's like a singular work of like amazing, industrial rock, you know, and in metal. So he's not in this one. It's this team called Finishing Move is what they call themselves. They do a bunch of like contract work for video game music, and they're okay. Some of the songs in there are okay. but it's just not the same. It's just not the same. I think it's just a major back step because Mick Gordon is just so like those games are like Mick Gordon and those games are like so intertwined. The first two, it's weird not to have the third one. Like I think it's so damning that like my this is my bar for media. Be good or be bad. Do not be boring. Don't be boring.
Yeah.
It is like the worst sin you could commit is being boring.
I 100%
because
agree.
you are saying nothing at that point.
Yep.
You know, and that's kind of how I feel about the music in this game. It's just boring as hell, and I'm middling to pretty neutral about it. So, besides like story stuff, I listen to podcasts while playing it, and of course I listen to, the actual game itself. Well, my first time through, I pretty much listened to the game, but by the end of it, I was just like, do I need to listen to this music? No, it's not very good. So, that's Doom: The Dark Ages. I think everyone should play this game. It is awesome. You don't need to know a thing about Doom to play it. The Doom lore doesn't matter anyway. But even if you wanted to play Doom 2016, and then Eternal, and then this, you could do that. You could play this before Doom 2016. It's whatever. Like, the lore is kind of whatever. If you want to just play the best Doom out, I think you should play this game for the gameplay by itself. Because I think the shield implementation, fantastic. The guns are better than ever. And you talked about medieval guns a little bit. There's some interesting weapons in here. Like, there's this... Basically, it's like the... grenade launcher of this game. It's like this ball. It's like this mace that pops out with a chain, like a ball and chain, and like sticks out and smacks enemies. It's like a fun like grenade launcher. And then there's this like it's basically like your submachine gun kind of sort, and it's like your automatic fire gun. I forget what it's called, but it like crushes skulls for ammo. Like every time it like shoots, it's like shooting out bone shrapnel. And it's kind of awesome. It's like bone flak, with like it's got a main fire and then a secondary fire. One's like a closed spray, and one's like an open spray. And yeah, there's a lot of interesting, fun weapons in there. Instead of the BFG in this game, they have the BFC, which is the crossbow version.
Oh.
So the BFG is called the big fucking gun. That's what they call it.
Yep.
The big fucking crossbow you have, and you shoot crossbow bolts.
Yep.
So, kind of fun. Yeah, the weapons are the best suite of weapons in any of their games for the Doom series. I think all the weapons are good in this game. It's so rare for that to happen. Eternal, you like had to use them out of necessity. In the first game, like there were some bad weapons with the reboots, but in this one, like the super shotgun is like maybe the best shotgun in any video game. Like I love that shotgun so much. It's incredible. Yeah, but with your full arsenal and like your shield, just all the capabilities you have with that, it's such a complete package of combat. I love the way they reinvented it here. It's my favorite way to play, interact with modern Doom. I think it's amazing. So, highly recommend that game. It's a really good. I will be reviewing that soon, just to get my final thoughts in a concise way. And yeah. That's Doom the Dark Ages. Loved that game. Loved it. So much fun. So, yeah. That's pretty much all the new stuff we got up to. I beat a new game, and you played some Guilty Gear Strive stuff.
Yeah.
Let's talk some odds and ends. That is your bread and butter. And I want to talk about all of your PS2 happenings. But you have alluded to it a couple times. I don't want to keep chaining the dogs here, okay? Let's start with Shadow of the Colossus. Talk to me about this game. What you're thinking. If for people, if they're listening to the audio version of this, he's got his head in his hands. He might be sobbing. I don't know. But Shadow of the Colossus. Let's get into it.
Yeah, it's a game. It's a video game.
It's a game. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, first
man,
thing,
he's gotta compose himself. This is serious.
First thing is, I was kind of bored by like all of the like opening stuff. Like all the opening cutscene stuff was really boring. But it didn't help that the game runs at a solid 10 frames per second on the PlayStation 2.
Oh no! Oh, no.
Oh yes. Maybe I'd be more interested if the game ran at give me 24 frames per second. I don't know. Is that unreasonable? But
okay, let's put it this way: this game should not be on the PS2.
No,
it's a miracle that they did
Yes.
put it on the PS2. But if you want to play the original game here, play the PS3 version.
Probably.
It's at least serviceable.
Probably. That sounds right.
Just
I don't know
prefacing
about that
this,
version.
yeah.
I don't know anything about that version.
I do. That is a good
Did
version.
you know that this version was supposed to be a not so playable version? Okay.
Oh yeah. I knew this, and I was just like, okay, he's gonna find out. I didn't want to totally dissuade you. I was like,
sure.
Yeah, the PS3 version's a little better, and you're like, sure, but I like the PS2. I'm like, okay,
I like the PS2. Yeah,
I mean, go with God.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna stop.
I wanted to. Yeah, I heard. I had seen stuff on YouTube about this game being a technical marvel on the PS2, and it looks really good. It's a good looking game for the PS2. My gosh, this thing looks like an early PS3 game. Because it is.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, right. Yeah, it kind of does.
The PS2 version of this game, maybe I'd be more interested in that story if it wasn't so slow to get through the cutscenes. They just go on and on and on. I was like, oh, this looks really nice, but I'm bored. So I just was kind of playing on my phone while I was letting it go out, and then some voice started talking, so I'm like, oh, I better pay attention now. And
you have to go find the Colossi.
Yeah, I'm like, find Colossi. Okay, yeah, sure, I can probably figure that out.
Why am I puking up black stuff when I kill these things? They can't be good.
Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Slowly roll. So, so I'm in this lobby, and I'm like, I'm supposed to fight large things. How do I do that? So I just kind of start walking around this lobby, and I go up this spiraling staircase. Maybe I'm supposed to go up here. Nope, that's where I came from in the cutscene. So the locked door. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'll go back down. Sure. So I go back down. No, I just jumped down. That's right. I'm like, does this game have fall damage? Okay, yeah, it has full damage. Cool. Figured that out
for sure.
So then I'm like, okay, we'll try the other way. So I go to where the pretty lights are. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to go outside. I wouldn't have known that. Why would I go outside?
Yeah.
I'm a gamer. They don't do that. So I went outside, touched some grass, and then sand, I guess. It's kind of like a deserty area.
Yeah, sand. Yeah.
And then, ouch, cat. I ride around a little bit, and I kind of find this path that goes up. I'm like, oh, this seems like first area path tutorial, teach me how to climb. And sure enough, this game copied Breath of the Wild, I will say. It's kind of a Breath of the Wild clone. That's just not... you can't be stealing Breath of the Wild. Yeah. I can't believe they did that in 2005 or whatever. They stole it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But,
stole it.
I climb up this thing at, my steady 10 frames per second and get to my big guy. And, there he is, the big guy. And I'm like, oh, large dude, yes. I will fight this. And the game's like, shine your sword at it to reveal its weak spot. I'm like, okay, sure. Nothing's happening. So I'm trying to shine every single point on this guy possible. And then he just brings his big hammer down and kills me in one hit. I'm like, oh, okay. Cool. That didn't work. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go kill him. I kind of already know how to do that. Like, it's pretty obvious what you're supposed to do. So I just climb up the dude at my steady 10 frames per second and do the stabbing attack in his forehead a few times, and he dies.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
Yep.
okay, I'm sure that's like the entire game, is you just go to their forehead, stab them a few times, bada bing, bada boom.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Yeah. So I did that, and then got, like, put back to, like, the hub area, statue breaks, whatever. And I'm just like, okay, guess I'll ride around and try to find another one of these guys. I couldn't find another one of those guys. I found, like, a forest area, and I'm like, maybe I just play this thing with a guide. It's probably the right call. The guide just telling where these stupid things are, because the in-game map didn't really help, and there didn't seem to be any sort of, like, guidance system in-game, so I'm like, I'm just probably gonna pull up a guide. So that's what I'll do next time I play it. But that's where I ended my play session.
Oof, that's a rough night with that game. Yeah,
I'll get through it. It's not entirely unplayable. It's just really rough around the edges.
Yeah, it's a miracle game. Oh my gosh, how could it exist? It's a late PS2 game. Came out in 2005 alongside God of War 2 that came out in 2005. It was before the PS3 hit store shelves, and they had some hot bangers to throw your way that were some of the most defining games of the generation. Honestly, it was like that, and God of War 2, honestly, and then the GTA games. They were like the big pillars of the PS2. But yeah, I can see where you'd be having some trouble. So a little bit of my background. I'd never played the original, really, besides dabbling with the PS3 version of the original. Never beat it. I liked it okay. The controls are not very good in that game at all. I just it depends. Like, if you can muscle through it, great. I personally don't like it that much.
I've played games that have controls. You know, I've played games
gotta
that
have
controls.
You got to be made of sterner stuff to enjoy that stuff, and I think you're one of these people. So, more power to you there.
I don't know if I like these controls, to be honest. I think I'm in agreement.
Okay,
with
so
you
what
on
are we
this.
defending? I was like, whoa.
That's what I was trying to say. I think that you're onto something with these controls in particular. I think they're kind of weird.
No other game plays like it. Like, it's for good reason, because it's just not good.
I don't get why you have to hold onto things. I don't like the holding. I think the holding is where it gets a little weird. Like, Breath of the Wild figured it out, but that was many years later. Before Breath of the Wild, we had this and holding.
Yeah, okay, so the answer to that question, or that query, I think, is that if you want to be reductive in some ways, or maybe even specific, the Colossi in that game are the levels.
Yeah.
So gamifying the boss fights like that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
It's a matter of, like, how does it feel to interact with these bosses? If it feels bad, it means the controls aren't up to snuff. I will say, playing the remake of Shadow of the Colossus, which I have some issues with in the art department specifically. They changed wide swaths of the art. It doesn't look like that Team Eco style, which is really odd. It feels more of like it was inspired by.
It's been a lot of those lately.
Yeah.
In recent years, there's been a lot of those remakes that just completely get the art style wrong, like that Demon Souls remake. Even like that Oblivion remake is like the art styles are like night and day. Like, they're completely different.
It is different. It is different. It's basically when you change it to a more high fidelity version, it loses something in the translation. That's how it is. Different people working on it. I mean, that's what's happening. I'm worried that's what's going to happen with like Fallout 3 for specifically, but that's neither here nor there. Um, but yeah, like I think the choices that they make with the reboot, and also you mentioned Demon Souls. Also, it was Blue Point Games who did they did the Metal Gear Solid HD stuff back in the PS3 era and 360 era, and they made both of those games that we were talking about. So it's Demon Souls and then Shadow of the Colossus. Those PS4 and 5 remakes, they helm both of those. So they're to blame a little bit for that sort of change. I don't think it's like detrimental to the game because there's sometimes like vibes and tones that can make games better. Like for instance, I think the Silent Hill 2 remake stuff that they decided to change is just superior in my opinion. After having experienced and seen a lot of Silent Hill 2 proper from the PS2 and PC era, it's just really well done and what they decide to do with the
don't know
remake.
About that. I'll still have to check out that remake at some point.
You will. It is a matter of taste, I think, at the end of the day. But I think objectively, it does suck that they are not taking the core tenets with them, in some ways. But if done well, it can be good. Like I mentioned with the Bloober Team stuff. So
yeah,
it's really a matter of what you like, what you don't like. At the end of the day. But yeah.
That's Shadow of the Colossus. What I've done so far with it, I'll try to get through it. Just take bites out of it. Do like a Colossi once in a while, and it's not unplayable. It just is not a great version of that game.
Yeah, and it's the first version of that game. Like that's the old adage, just like when a game is out, if it's highly regarded or does well, like there will be better versions and better ways to play that game down the line.
Usually, yeah.
Usually. I think aesthetically that original game is amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I even like the like lore of it. Like I was saying like I didn't feel very invested in like the story of it, but the actual lore of it seems interesting, and the actual areas of the game and the world building and like the language and things like that. That all seemed really interesting. It was like just the immediate story was like, this is a bit played out, but sure, whatever. We'll go with the save the girl sort of story, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, it's the princess you are tasked with saving is very Team Eco coded with like the first game they did in the Eco. You're leading her through the maze and stuff, but yeah, there's better ways to play that game. I think you should play them different ways if you don't like this. And maybe if you want to check out the PS4 remake, it plays really well, and you get a lot out of it. I think
I would if I did have to go to another version, I'd probably just go to that PS3 version. That sounds like
if you want to tackle this original, I think that's probably the right way to go.
Yeah.
There's a really good video or series of videos by Jacob Geller on YouTube.
Yep.
One of the best essayists on YouTube. He's amazing. All his videos are really high quality. If you haven't seen them, I'm plugging them. Please do it. He has great stuff about the big secrets of that game of Shadow of the Colossus and the community aspect of like digging into a bunch of code and finding a bunch of colossi that never showed up in the game or were concepts that were left in the code or where all these secret areas that might be in the game and how to get to them and flip through walls and stuff. And like what they did in the PS4 remake with that stuff and like added little homages to the community and little nods to treasure hunters in that game, which is kind of cool. But highly recommend those essays when you get a chance. But yeah, that's Shadow of the Colossus. I want to finish that PS4 remake at some point. I just for some reason I could never just finish it. I've played through it halfway twice and I don't know what's stopping me. But yeah, you've been playing more PS2 stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
The one I've seen you play the most probably is Monster Hunter 1.
Yeah, I put about 60-ish hours into that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hmm. That's amazing. Did you beat the main campaign of that thing?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, give me some overall thoughts of that thing.
So, first of all, the servers are dead. You can't go online with the game.
Right.
I thought I could because there's fan servers now for those old Monster Hunters for 1G and 2, right?
Okay.
Those are for the Japanese version. I have the US version.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah. I played through most of the game thinking, oh yeah, once I get through the solo stuff, I'm just going to hop online for a bit and check that out. No, we're not doing that. But I was like, well, I've already made it this far. At that time, I'd already like beaten Rothlos by the time I had figured that out. I'm like, well, I beat the guy, so I might as well just finish this game out, like do all the solo stuff to completion. Because I was having fun with it. I was enjoying the game. Like, it's a very enjoyable game for a freak like me who likes games that are actively designed to essentially hate the player. Like, all of that game's systems are just designed to make you, like, have to be extremely conservative with all your resources and, like, not make mistakes. It punishes mistakes very heavily by forcing you to grind for all of your resources and all of the things that you use. Like, the only things you can buy in shops are, like, herbs and, like, bombs.
Oh, wow.
And antidote herbs. And, like, those are, like, the main, like, big resources. Like, there's other stuff in the shop, obviously, like the pickaxes and stuff like that, but, it's, like, the main, like, you know, resources, of, like, your potions, your food, and your, like, your, traps. You can buy the trap tools and the spider webs, but there's always some sort of ingredient that you have to go out and get in the wild. And there's no way to just, like, get that through other systems in that first game. You just go out onto a quest, and you do the quest, and you get those items. Solo only, you have to go into an actual mission. There's no, like, gathering quests. So there's, like, gathering quests, but there's no, like, harvest festivals or whatever they call those, where the whole thing is just, you know, you go to an area and gather what you want and then leave. You have to do, like, a full quest in order to go to any areas.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So there was, like, one that was, like, a mushroom hunt in the jungle area, and I would just do that over and over and over and over and over again whenever I would need blue mushrooms, for instance. Or sometimes I would also grab... I would kill, like, the local monsters there for raw meat and individually cook every single steak that I needed to consume.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Oh, wow. Sounds pretty tedious, I guess.
Yes, it is Tedium the Game. That is an apt title for it. Very tedious. And yeah, I make this game sound like the worst game ever, I'm sure, but I enjoyed my 60 hours with it.
I see where you would like that.
Yes.
It reminds me of, in hearing this, it reminds me of Death Stranding, where you are finding pleasure in the tedium and the repetition.
Yep.
I can relate to this.
Yep.
I think that's why you would probably like Death Stranding.
Probably would.
But
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the enemies in that game is the terrain. You know, it's kind of awesome that way. But yeah.
Yeah, Monster Hunter 1 is very much like the monsters are the enemy, but the enemy is also yourself and not screwing up and using all your resources.
Gotcha.
So 20 hours of the game were spent getting through Rathlos. I was done with like, and that's like usually what people would consider like, yeah, you beat solo, quote unquote. Like that's like the thing that like unlocks, like the big wyverns and unlocks. You get the hero sword from the like tree and all that good stuff. And so most people are like, yeah, okay, you got there, you know. That wasn't good enough for me. I'm like, no, I want to fight Monoblos. He's a pretty rare monster in the series. He doesn't come up a whole lot. I think the only other time I fought him was in 4 Ultimate. I think that was like the last game he was in. And I don't even remember that fight at all. But I know he was in there. I'm like, no, I want to fight this guy. And he's like the like last thing that you have to fight to actually say you've completed this thing. And so I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go up and, you know, go to that guy. But first, you know, I'm using just like really crappy armor. So I need to grind. And, well, traditionally, Rathlos armor, that's a great armor set to use. You know, that's one of the best in all the games.
Yeah.
So, because he is like the face of Monster Hunter, so they always make that set work. And so,
Right.
I'm like, okay, I'll just farm this guy. I mean, it was really tough fighting him the first time, but maybe if I fight him a few times, I'll get the hang of it. So I'd fight him,
Sure.
get my butt kicked. Okay, I lost, but that's okay. We'll just learn this fight. I'd fight him, get my butt kicked.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, let's try it again. I did this for maybe like I wiped to him like so many different times, and like once in a while I'd like get one that like I actually won, but it was just like by the skin of my teeth and like using all my resources. And I'm like, okay, well now I gotta go get all my resources back, so back to farming mushrooms. So I would do this, you know, I'd do this little song and dance, and
yeah,
I got to like I got maybe like 2 or 3 pieces of Rathlos armor out of like the 5 that I needed. And then I'm like, okay, this isn't working. Something has to give. Am I giving up this game? And this was probably like this was maybe 30 or 40 hours in. I was having this. I was like, am I giving up this game? Am I just getting filtered? Am I not enjoying this? But so I'd put down the game for like a day, and then I'd be like, no, I was, or sometimes I'd even put it down for just like an hour, and then I'd be like, oh no, I was just caught up in, you know, the heat of it. I don't think I've screamed at a game as much as I've screamed at this game, let me tell you.
Really? Wow.
And
jeez, that's some serious stuff.
It's kind of stressful. There's a lot of stress in it because I know there's consequences for me not performing well. I have to go farm.
Sure.
I have to go get every resource that I use. I have to do like an hour of grinding to get those resources back.
Oh my god, that seems like a That seems like a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, 40 of my hours of gameplay pretty much ended up being grinding for that Rathlos armor set. For the Rathlos armor set, 40 hours. Here's why. So I was bad at the game. I was just getting filtered by the game. And so I was like, okay, I need to get good. So I'm like, maybe this weapon isn't working. So I started farming a lance. I'm like, I'm pretty good with lance. I can play lance, and lance is really good in this game. So I'm going to make myself a lance. So I started farming a lance. And I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty tough farm, but if this, you know, if I can do well with lance, you know, it's going to make the fight a whole lot easier. And so I grinded for like a day or two for a lance. And then I'm like, oh, I can't actually get this lance until I beat the game. There's literally no point in me grinding for this one. So then I started farming for another lance. I'm like, okay, well,
Oh my
that
God.
I made that mistake, but
Oh my goodness.
we'll get this lance. And that lance took me like less time than the other lance, but it still took me a good amount of time. And I had to learn a new like farming route and all that for it to get the like ores that I needed. But it was. Yep. Go ahead.
Did you like this game? Like,
I loved
did
it.
you really like this game?
1000% would recommend.
Okay. Yeah.
It's such a primal game for. It's a game for gamers. Like, it's a stupid word, gamer. I know, but this game, you don't recommend it to your grandma. Your grandma doesn't play Monster Hunter 1.
Let's say your grandma's Monster Hunter.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. This ain't your grandma's Monster Hunter. You play this game if you want to be engaged with a game. You want to feel like your decisions in the game absolutely matter, because they do. They do. You are punished hard for not using your resources correctly.
It's like basically you're in the woods and you have this amount of ammo, you're hunting this very rare deer.
Yeah.
And then your gun breaks and you have to source your weapon again part by part. That's fun.
You feel like a monster hunter in this game. This is not your arcade, your resources are free, you just use them and you don't care about them. Every potion matters. The only things that never mattered were herbs. I ate more herbs than any Monster Hunter game I've ever played. I was eating herbs rather than eating my potions. And
herb, yeah.
You get your first aid kit or your first aid meds. They get like 6 every hunt. So I was using those, using herbs, and using antidote herbs, which I never used before. I've never in any game ever thought I would ever be using antidote herbs instead of antidotes. Antidote herbs give you a 50-50 whether they heal you or not from poison. Okay. So you just eat them and hope that this one actually cures your poison. If not, you got to eat another one. You do like a coughing animation. You got to eat another one. But that's better than the alternative of farming mushrooms. I got so sick of farming mushrooms. I was done with farming mushrooms.
I bet. Yeah, that sounds pretty crappy. I mean, if you have to literally source all of your every time,
yes,
I could see why that would really piss you off. I don't think I would like doing that personally, and I'm okay with repetition in games if it's like justified okay, and if I have something else to distract me, like for instance, whenever I played Skyrim, I was trying to build like the Daedric armor set, and I had to just grind making knives to get my blacksmithing up. Like that was fine, like. Because I was doing an exploit and I was just grinding away at the one thing I knew what to do. I'm okay. I can be okay with it, but if it's like 40 hours of grinding, I don't know about that's crazy.
It was an interesting grind. It's one of the most interesting grinds I've ever had in a game. Yeah. And let me just wrap this story up for you.
Yeah, please. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah. Let me wrap this up with a neat little bow. So, I get the lance to the point where it's actually like usable in my farming for like the best version of this lance. I get it to like the tier below the one I was going for, the Babel spear. I had like the paladin spear and I wanted the Babel spear, and so I'm like, well, I have to farm this Basarios anyways. I might as well just farm this thing using the lance so I can actually learn how to use this stupid thing that I'm building. So I start farming this Basarios with this paladin spear. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm having a little bit tougher time clearing it than I was with my greatsword. That's what I'd been using the whole game, was the greatsword. And
greatsword, yeah.
I was like, because there's only like 6 weapons in this game. There's like greatsword, sword and shield, hammer, lance.
No insect glaive? What? No,
it came way later.
Dang.
So, yeah, so I was getting, like, having a tougher time fighting these Basarios with the lance. I'm like, yeah, okay. They're a little bit taller of guys, I'm not used to using the lance, I'm I haven't used Lance in a game since, like, gosh, when was the last game? Oh, World. World was the last one I used Lance, and I used Lance in World. It's been a while since I used Lance. World, I used it because it was the best weapon to get me through those giant maps. Because I could just use the sprint animation, and it was, like, the fastest way to get around those giant maps in World. Because there was no way of like transporting yourself through those maps otherwise. Oh my gosh, that's a weird game.
Not.
World's a weird game.
It's so odd. It's so odd.
But so I'm using this Lance, right? And I'm like, okay, this is, I'm figuring this out all right. But I'm like, well, the quests rotate. So there's about 9 different 5-star quests, and I'm doing this, I'm trying to get the quest that I need, the Basarios quest, and it's just not showing up for me. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just going to go try and fight one of these Rothlos with this Lance, and just see, just learn the fight. Let's try and learn the fight using the Lance. So I do it, and, I'm like, doing pretty all right with it. I'm like, yeah, okay, this is feeling good. I'm doing better than I was. So then I end up I finish building this Lance, and I start trying to fight Rothlos with it. And I'm like, oh, I'm not really doing a whole lot better than I was with the greatsword.
After all of that, oh my god!
It wasn't the weapon; it was just me having a skill issue. So.
Oh, okay.
I was like, okay, so because at this point I was doing better because I had been playing so much of this game that I was just like through actively playing the game, I was just getting better at the game. Like that's kind of how it works, right? And so, I was getting better, using less resources to fight this thing. But then a killer thing struck when I was looking at the drop rates of the items that I needed to build this Rathlos armor. And I found that one of the pieces you need for the helmet is a 1% drop from the capture of the monster.
Oh, 1%?
1%. I'm like, oh no, there's
brutal.
No way. This thing I can barely even beat. Having to capture it all those times for the 1%, using that many resources, farming that many mushrooms. I can't do this. I can't do this. So I'm like, okay.
God.
Let's refactor here. Let's refactor. So what can I do that might be easier than this and has better drop rates for all the pieces? I'm like, oh, well, if I'm not doing Rathlos, let's do Rathian. Let's get the Rathian set. That's good enough. That'll be good enough, right? So that's what I did. I started grinding Rathian. Issue with Rathian. There's 2 different Rathian quests. One of them takes place in the desert. One of them takes place in the swamp. The swamp one has... Not only does it have a couple of zones that are full of Bullfango, which is the worst enemy in that game. They take 5 hits to kill with like any of the weapons I was using, or like 4 hits to kill with any of the weapons I was using, and they can like insta speed charge you. And there's like a swarm of them. There's like 5 or 6 in one area, and if they get in a cycle, they can just combo you to death. Because by the time you get up, another one's charging at you and knocking you over. And they're like,
my goodness,
the worst. Oh my gosh, they're horrible. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just, be careful, kill all of those in the area. They don't respawn, fine. Then there's one area that she likes to be in a lot that's infinitely respawning Genprey and Eoprey. The little, like, Velociraptor guys. Infinitely respawning.
Oh, yeah.
One of them has paralysis, and one of them has poison. And they're infinitely respawning. and they just swarm you while you're trying to fight Rathian. Rathian's not a hard fight. It's really not a bad fight. But being swarmed by guys, it's horrible. The desert one, you have an area with them, but you can just kill them and they don't respawn. And then there's like an area with the little Apsaros, the little spike-tailed guys, the armored spike-tailed guys. Yeah. And you can like kill them off. Yeah. They're aggressive, really aggressive, but you can kill them. Like they take like 4 hits to kill, but you can kill them pretty easily. But so I'd like be waiting to like get her in the desert instead of the swamp because I did not want to fight her in the swamp. I did that a couple times and I just used so many resources just fighting off the stupid. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool. And then I was looking at just like a random game facts guide, and I was reading this game facts guide just because like I was just kind of at wit's end at this point. I'm like, okay, I was just reading stuff to read stuff, and I got to like the Rathlos portion, and they were like, okay, here's a step-by-step how to beat this Rathlos. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
well, okay, we'll try some of this strategy. So I started trying that strategy, and slowly I started learning the fight. I started getting good after hours and hours and hours of avoiding it. I just started doing it. I started doing the one thing that I had been trying to do for all these hours, but kept getting sidetracked by like, oh, I need to change this. Oh, I need to change this. I started doing the one thing. And I was doing it with Greatsword at this point. Because the guide was like, yeah, I did this with Greatsword. I'm like, oh, well, hey, I like Greatsword. I was kind of struggling to get a hold of Lance. I hadn't used Lance a whole lot compared to Greatsword. I'm just going to switch back to that Greatsword that I was using. It's like the same one I had been using since like the 4-star quest. And I was like in the 5-star quest. I couldn't upgrade it. I didn't want to bother building a better Greatsword. I was just like, I'm just going to use this one. This one's fine. I'm done grinding for Greatswords. I'm done grinding for weapons. I want to get an armor set and move on. And so
Sure.
I started doing it. And I learned it. I learned how to play the game. I got good. I was able to get it to where I was not using any potions. I was using like the free potions and my herbs to heal. That was all my healing was done with free potions and herbs. Like, I was getting it to the point where I was barely even using those. Like, I learned it. I learned it to a T. Like, I can beat that thing so easily now.
Yeah, I love that about games that challenge you. When you learn like it's the equivalent of in the Matrix 1, when Neo becomes one with the Matrix, he literally sees everything as lines of code. I know what you mean.
Yes. I haven't had this experience since like Dark Souls games. Like that was like a Dark Souls moment for me, like learning this Rathlos fight. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it BS? Yes. Is it a better fight in the other games? Absolutely. He likes to fly around the map. Out of bounds. Yeah. You can't touch him for like half the fight because he's just flying around being a pain and flying between areas being a pain. He hates staying in one area for more than like 1 minute. Unless if you...
And you know it was intentional too, that they did that. They're messing with you.
But. I learned the fight. I got really good at fighting and capturing Rathlos. And all of a sudden I just was doing the grind that I should have been doing like 40 hours ago, but I was literally using the same weapon, the same equipment that I could have been doing, but I was like, no, I need to do this. No, this weapon isn't good enough. No, I just wasn't good enough. It was me. It was a me issue. Ish me.
I'm the problem. It's me. Yeah, right.
Yeah, You know, you get in your head sometimes. You're like, it could never be me. I couldn't be the problem. It's like, no, I was the problem. For sure. Absolutely. But like I used like a little bit of what that guide was saying, mixed it with like, you know, okay, I'm learning this about the monster. The guide didn't say this, but I've noticed this about the monster. The guide says not to do this. I'm gonna do this anyways because I know I can get away with it because I've learned the patterns of this monster so much. Like it says don't attack from underneath him. I was doing that because I knew when to get out of there and what patterns were proper patterns for me to attack underneath him, things like that. You just learn as you play. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm playing a video game. Mm-hmm. Like,
here we are gaming.
Dad,
look at us.
Oh my gosh, I haven't had this experience with the game in a very long time.
Wow, high praise. That's awesome.
It was amazing. It was incredible. Just this, like, going from this thing kicking my butt repeatedly the first time I fought it in this game, and then just barely etching out a win, to being able to consistently beat this thing using essentially the same equipment that I fought it with the first time, but just learning the fight and being smarter. And all of a sudden I just got a lucky drop of that 1% item. I'm like, yeah, okay, we got this. We've got this. I got the rest of the
1% is so
materials I needed.
Why would they do that?
I got the rest of the materials I needed and completed the armor set. I'm like, okay, now I can go beat the game. That's exactly what I did. I don't think I did a single other mushroom mission after that. I was like, okay, I'm not farming any more mushrooms. Whatever potions I have, those are what I'm beating the game with. So
right.
I fought the only quests I had left were Plesioth, which is a fun one. I'll get to that. And the Eodrome. And there's like 3 Eodrome, so I think I might have cleared out them. They're super easy, just little like raptor guys. You know, they're big raptor guys, but they're pretty weak. At this point, I just tore through them with my greatsword. I knew what I was doing. I'm like, yeah,
nice.
I don't care about the infinitely respawning raptors. They don't bother me. I've dealt with them countless times now. Don't care.
Yeah.
And there's a egg delivery mission. I did that. That was fine. I just used no. They're not bad compared to the horrors of learning that Rathlos fight. Trust me, the egg delivery missions are they're like a breath of fresh air. They're like, thank you, Capcom, for letting me deliver this egg.
Yeah, that's good. That's pretty good. That's
Mega Dash Juice helps for those quite a bit. But so the Plesioth fight is fun. You get to fish him out with a frog, and he flops around, and the whole meme with him is that his hitbox is really jank, and I fought him, and yes, his hitbox is jank. He's got like a hip check that like I would literally be behind him and it would still hit me and do like half my health. I was like, yep, this is about right. This is about what I expected. But I got through him. Like, I did it on my second try, and the only reason was that I forgot to bring like the items I needed to get him out of the water. So I was just watching him swim around the first time. I'm like, okay, I'm not doing this. We're going and getting the items from my item box. Like, this is not happening. Because the game will just do that. Like, if you don't bring the right items, like, the monster will just stay out of range, and you will not be able to fight him. Like, if you don't bring...
It's so annoying.
Yeah. Yeah, if you don't bring sonic bombs for some of the monsters, like, they just will not come to say hello to you.
It's cool. It's cool that you know, they encourage the player to interact with their systems, even though they're pretty much mandatory to doing everything right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just how the game is. That's how this first gen is. So.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Then
are you wanting to kind of review this thing in general, sort of thing?
Probably.
Or is this kind of? You think so? Because that's a complete. I mean, you played that thing completely. That's
yes.
surprising.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised, just as surprised as you are, but yep. So I beat that Plesioth, great. I was like, yep, that was cool. I got like 5 potions left. Oh, Monoblos, let's get this bread. So I just hopped right into Monoblos. Made sure I had like Sonic Bombs. It's about all you need really. The guide I was using said you could like make him like run into walls and get stuck. He never did that for me. I have no idea what they were talking about. So I just kind of beat him the old-fashioned way, just wail on him. I used Sonic Bombs whenever he'd go underground. I ran out of Sonic Bombs, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wail on him. Oh, my sword bounces off like pretty much every part of this guy. Oh, I'm losing sharpness. I ran out of whetstones. Well, I'm just gonna keep wailing on this guy. Oh, I ran out of potions. Okay, well, I'll just... It's either me or the monster, right? So I'd keep wailing at him.
For himself.
I'd cart, I'd go back to the start, I'd run back to him, wail on him, I'd cart, go back to the start, I'd go back to him. It's like down to the wire, like me or him. He was limping, I was on my last try, and I was able to do it. Every single part of him was broken. His horn was broken off, his tail was cut, everything. I did the whole thing. Every piece of the puzzle.
Dude. I know that.
I got everything.
I know that
on
feeling.
him.
I know that feeling.
I
That feeling you're
conquered
talking
him.
about. I can.
Yep.
Yeah.
First try.
Conquering a tough task.
Yep.
That's cool.
First try with like 5
potions
potions because I did not want to go grind more mushrooms. I was done with mushrooms.
No more grinding. Yeah. I had that exact same feeling playing Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, where you had the boss rush at the end of that game.
Yeah.
And it was like the last trophy I needed, and I was in a bad spot against Bahamut Zero.
Yep.
And I was just like, I'm gonna die. Like like if I don't get aggressive here, it's over.
Yep.
And once you do that, and you lock in. You're just like,
Yep.
man, I can do anything. It felt so good.
Yeah. Nah, that's exactly how it was with this. I was like, man, this thing feels like it'll never die, but it has to die at some point.
Yeah.
And just randomly, I just hit him, and I killed him. And I'm like, yes, done with the game. The game is over. The game is over. I'm free. I'm free. Like, yeah, I could go grind some more mushrooms and do, like, I think, like, there's, like, some hidden quests. There's, like, one that's, like, Kazoo, and one that's, like, which would be interesting. I like Kazoo. Maybe I'll go back and check out that Kazoo at some point. I don't want to farm those mushrooms. I really don't. And I know I'm going to need some potions. I used every blessed potion I had, so...
Right.
I used every blessed well-done steak I had, I'm pretty sure, as well, so, like, I'd have to go get farm more of those, and it'd be about an hour of farming before I'd even be able to fight the thing, and... Not to mention, to even unlock the thing, I would have to farm for more Genprey scales and more Maclite ore, because you have to craft a piece of Vespoid armor just to see the Kazoo quest. And I was like,
sounds like a lot.
I beat the guy. He's like the guy to beat in that game. He's supposed to be like the toughest guy in the solo of that game. And I beat him. First try. And I was okay with that. I'm like, yes, that's fine. I feel accomplished. I feel like I'm complete with this game. 60 hours is plenty for a game that I can't even
That's
go
a lot.
online with. Yep.
That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot to invest into something like that. So fair to say you loved it. That's awesome.
Yes.
I'm glad you really. I like it when you go back and do your homework. I do that a fair amount too. Where I'm just like, I got to see how this thing started. This is cool. Yeah, it's really.
That was my
special.
goal with that. And yeah, I enjoyed my time with it. It was very, 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 very different than like a 4 Ultimate or a Generations.
Yeah.
It was very
for sure.
prickly and very like anti-player compared to the systems that those games have, where yes, we want this to be a classic Monster Hunter experience. Yes, we want the monsters to feel like classic Monster Hunter, but also we want the player to just kind of be able to go in and run at those monsters without too much like grinding and too much fluff in between. Those games are designed for a portable experience. That's what those are designed for. This is very much designed for a home console. You are locked in when you're at home, you have nothing else to do. You are going to engage with this game if you are playing this game. That is how the game wants you to be. It's a very different experience.
Yeah, Monster Hunter 1 on the PS2. That's a
yes.
Yeah, I like that extensive look at it. That your thoughts are very welcome. I've been wanting to like go back to Monster Hunter 2 in a major way. I want to finish the new one, of course, and then like you, I want to do like I don't know, Generations Ultimate when I get a Switch.
That's a really fun game. Yes, that's a really enjoyable experience.
I want to dabble with old Monster Hunter and not as much of the new.
That's the best way to experience old Monster Hunter currently. If they ever port for you for whatever reason to like Switch 2, I would almost say that would be a little bit better just because it's more focused. Whereas Generations Ultimate tries to do a million things at once and can be a bit overwhelming. But 4 Ultimate is like the boiled down, like this is what portable Monster Hunter is.
Yeah.
And I know you've played a fair amount of 4 Ultimate, but we've never like actually sat down and like completed everything in that.
Yeah, that would be something to do one of these days for sure.
Yeah.
But for sure.
Yeah, it's a good game.
Loved it. Yeah, that's awesome. 60 hours. I didn't expect you were going to put that much time in it.
I didn't either. I'm stubborn sometimes, and I'm like, I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm not going to get filtered by this thing.
You're gonna finish it. Yay! That's fun.
Yep.
So yeah, that was the main big odds and then you played.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to touch on some Ape Escape 2.
Yes.
And then Escape the Backrooms following that. So, kind of walk me through both of those real quick.
Yeah. So, Ape Escape 2, I've played a fair amount of it. I'm about, I want to say 35% of the way through this game.
Okay. Through the second one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And, the original is one of my all-time favorite platformers, if not the, greatest platformer of all time.
Yeah.
At least atmospherically and the level design and the music and everything. Oh my gosh, I love that game so much. The jungle themes of that game. Oh my gosh, they're so good. But so that game is a fantastic game. Ape Escape 1. Ape Escape 2, it's fine. It's a fine game. It just doesn't live up to that original for me. But
lightning in a bottle. Yeah.
Yep. Lightning in a bottle. That first one is definitely lightning in a bottle. I think most fans of the series would agree with that. The second one's a fine game. It's got some interesting parts of it. It's a lot more story heavy than the first one, so that's just kind of how games were during PS2 era.
Yeah.
So, but I've enjoyed my time with it so far. I need to get back to it. I kind of got hyper fixated on Monster Hunter 1 for a bit, but I need to get back to finishing that game. I at least want to get through the main story of that so I can play through Ape Escape 3 as well and decide my final thoughts on the series as a whole, the whole trilogy. I don't hate it. It feels like they took a lot of steps in the wrong direction. And maybe it's because I was using a third-party controller that I was having issues with the controls. So maybe if I go back with my official one, I'll have a little bit better time with the controls. But sometimes I just feel like they were a little bit not responsive enough compared to the first one. And you have to have a lot of precision inputs in that game. And because it's not an easy game, it's a kid's game, but it's not an easy game. They make those games tough for some reason, and just some of the inputs with the rotating the stick and things like that didn't feel right. They just didn't feel as responsive as they.
It's just not. It's just not as tight as that original. Yeah.
And I don't know if it was my controller or if that's just how the game is. I do
Well,
know
that's
that
just how it is. I think. Yeah.
maybe they did add like animations to certain things. Like the net, for instance, has like animations that just. So it's maybe I'm just used to the timing of the old net, but like when I'll go like catch a monkey, like it feels like it takes me a lot. It's a lot harder to catch the things because of like the wind up animation that he does instead of just like coming down on the monkey and just like. So I don't know. It's a fine game. Yep, I like it. All right.
Yep. Cool. So Ape Escape 2, you've been dabbling with that.
Yep.
I guess before we talk about the big topic of odds and ends, Escape the Backrooms. What is this?
Yeah, so this is just like a one of those like cheapo, rushed out early access games because the Backrooms thing was like a popular thing a couple of years ago, and
creepypasta sort of thing.
Yeah, they call it analog horror. I think that's what they call that.
Analog horror. Yeah, that's right. Right.
I have a lot of friends that are into that sort of subgenre of horror. It's like the modern creepypasta, right. And yeah, I mean, I like analog, and I like horror. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind the genre. It doesn't really get me like it gets some people, but that's because I'm used to these technologies, whereas like some like my younger friends are not used to these technologies, so they're kind of like off-putting and eerie to them. Like VHS and things like that might be a little bit off-putting and eerie to them. Sure. But I have like a stack of VHS down there. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's whatever.
Yeah,
it's not. I don't think it's exactly a genre designed for me, but I can still appreciate it. And so yeah, I'm playing this. I've been playing this Backrooms Escape game with some friends, like 4-player multiplayer. Yeah, it's got some good jump scares. Like I yelled a couple times, like having like some like guy come and get me all of a sudden. Like I'm like you know, like some guy got me, you know, and then I'm just like okay, yep, I got. There's like this.
Yep, time to restart and keep doing the thing I was doing before.
Yeah. Which is losing because I kind of suck at those types of games. It's like the sort of like puzzly escape from the like AI, you know, that roams the halls sort of thing. I kind of suck at that kind of thing.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I'd always be like the first one to die every level, and like everyone else would kind of just solve the level, and I'm like, okay, well we're on the next level, so that's fine with me. I'm just kind of here to like
I'll come
along for the ride. Yeah. So
you're like, I'm just taking a rest. Just, you know, Sherpa me. Like I'm just
like I would be like doing something else while I'm dead. You know, on like another screen, or like sorting cards or something like that. And
sure.
I'd be like, yeah, okay, I'm back, cool. And I'd like solve one thing for him, and then like there was like one thing where like we were trying to like get this elevator code, and they're like, yeah, I have no idea how to solve this, and I'm like, yeah, I don't either. We're just gonna choose codes until we get the right code. And sure enough, I chose codes and found the right code. And we're like, okay, well, we didn't solve that puzzle, but we're good. We're moving on.
Yeah.
And
that sounds fun.
Yep.
With a bunch of people,
Yeah, it's fun with friends. They're a lot better at these types of games because they play a lot of these types of like crappy horror games. And so I just kind of like, you know, hanging out with them while they're going through it, and I occasionally like do something helpful, and you know, I occasionally am like right on something. Like they'll be like, you know, no, we got to go this way. I'm like, no, I'm going this way, and it's like, yeah, that's actually the right way. I'm like, oh, okay, I was just messing around, but sure. But
nice.
It's it's a fine, all right thing. There's like this one level with like these human dog hybrid things everywhere, and like they have like the most like loud and annoying and obnoxious yell. They're like like, and they're like you just hear that constantly throughout the level, and we were stuck on this level for like hours, and I'm like, oh my
Oh,
gosh, these things are so annoying. Like, they're kind of creepy looking, sure, but the main thing was that
it's more
I
the
was just
annoying.
annoyed
Yeah.
of them by the end of it. I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's
Okay.
it's just not really my kind of game per se, but for people who like that sort of thing, yeah, sure, check it out. It's interesting enough. Escape the
Yeah,
Backrooms.
for sure. Escape the Backrooms. If you don't mind, before we talk about kind of the big odds and ends we'll get to, let's take a quick break,
Sure.
refresh ourselves, collect ourselves. Then we'll jump into that and then our topic, and we will wrap up with what we're looking into. What do you say?
Sounds great.
Cool. We're back.
Yep.
Let's talk about bigot sandwiches. What do you say?
Yeah.
The roast beef is gay. Everybody's gay. The woke mind virus
The
is
woke
taking over.
agenda.
Did you see that everyone turned into freaking mushrooms? Is that because kids are high these days?
Oh my gosh! What game could we be talking about with mushroom men? Is this Mario?
Dark Souls 1.
Did they have? Yeah, they did have the little mushroom guys in Dark Souls 1.
They
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
Anyway, we've been playing The Last of Us Part 2 together.
Yep.
Well, apart, but we have been playing different parts of it for sure.
Yep.
Before we get into that, I wanted to mention I am doing some trophy hunting for The Last of Us Part 1. That's been a good deal of fun because I've played that game 4 or 5 times. I love that game. The first one is a masterpiece. I even played Part 1 on PS5 all the way through. So now I'm just going through Chapter Select and just, cleaning up stuff I missed. And it's fun to read all the little bits of lore that you missed here and there and remember how they incorporated it into the show, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But let's talk about The Last of Us Part 2 for a little bit.
Okay.
So I brought this to your attention. The season 2 of the show has since ended. I have mixed feelings about it, but I don't want to get into it quite yet. So I basically brought it to your attention that, hey, this show's ending. It's been on my brain a lot. I kind of want to close the loop with this game specifically. Would you be interested in playing it? And you're like, yeah, sure. Let's pick this thing up. Your history with it is you love the first one, right?
Yep. Absolutely adored it. I
Love
only
the
played
first
through it
one.
once, but I played through the DLC and everything. I love the game.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game.
Yep.
The PS5 version is even better. They basically remade the game from the ground up, and it's gorgeous. It looks almost as good, if not better, than The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah, I'll probably get around to playing that game on PC at some point, Part 1.
Mm-hmm. It's a very, very good version of that game.
Yep.
If you wanted to play The Last of Us again, like the original, that version is a can't miss thing.
Sure.
And the package for both is really, really solid because they have all these nice behind the scenes features. They have their grounded documentaries where they had a company come in and film them while they created both games, and they were both dropped on YouTube within a few weeks of their release, each game's respective release. But they have repackaged them into the Part 1 and Part 2 complete editions, which is kind of fun.
Sure.
So you can kind of watch all that, watch some old announcement trailers, listen to some of the podcast stuff they put out. It's a nice package all on the whole for both of them. So yeah, dabbling with the first one, trying to just do all the trophies in that because they're not terribly hard. They used to be hard, the trophies for Last of Us, because you had to play the multiplayer, which, the servers they're not dead, but no one's playing those
The
games
multiplayer! Oh.
I know. People like the Factions multiplayer, and they liked it enough so much that Naughty Dog was like, let's make a live service multiplayer game that
You want to know
they
something?
got canceled. So, what's that?
This is my first time hearing that those games had multiplayer ever. I didn't know that.
Sure. Yeah, they did. They don't. Did they include them in the PS4 version?
I don't know.
They did. I'm
That's
pretty
what I
sure
played. I
they
played that
did.
PS4 version.
I'm pretty sure Factions was in there. It wasn't essential to you doing everything, but if you wanted to get all the trophies, I think it was included.
Yeah, I never got all the
but
trophies.
anyway, it's right. It's whatever. It's got a light story, honestly, the multiplayer, which is kind of interesting, but whatever. People like that a fair bit.
Okay.
Yeah, Last of Us Part 1 is great. It
Yep.
is a remake of The Last of Us, one of the best games ever. If people say that game is not good, they are lying to you because
Yep.
it is one of the all timers.
Yes.
It's easy to say it. I am more mixed on my feelings about part two, and that has bled over into me kind of revisiting my feelings about it. On the whole, what do I think of that game? Why don't I like it? Like that sort of thing. I've
Mm-hmm.
been really trying to grapple with the entire project and everything around it, and having had some space from it a little bit, I was wanting to kind of have a reappraisal of it in some ways, um, you know, and with season two of the HBO show airing, it's one of those things that's odd because like I'm watching the show, right, and I'm just like, you know what, everything that they're doing. Season one, okay, let's start there. Season one of the HBO show, they make some pretty good changes that I appreciate when it comes to the main story. Like for instance, Bill. You remember Bill, where you go through his own town, and they do the whole thing with him, dodging traps and left and right. You fight that big bloater in the gymnasium.
Yep.
They don't do any of that in the show.
Hmm.
Bill has died by the time they get to his house, and there's like a nice romantic episode with him and his husband that is really really good, really well made. It's one of the better episodes of that season. But it's like a thing that they changed, and I really appreciated that because it's a good explanation of that character on a micro level, and I think it works a lot better than that game portion. Not to say it's bad, it's essential to you playing through the main campaign.
Yeah.
But in the game, it's alluded to that he had a partner, and that Bill is also gay, and yeah, it's that's an example of some good changes. But season two is changing things in ways where it's like, why did you need to alter this? Like, I've said this to you, I've said this to my wife. I mean, watching season two of this show, it's I'm watching through again something I've already seen before but done worse, and it feels like that in almost every way. I think the casting, I think characters are just miscast. I think Joel and Ellie are miscast ultimately. I like Pedro Pascal enough as an actor. He just doesn't seem like a Joel to me. I really feel that way. Because Pedro Pascal is inherently likable, you know? Every time he's expected to do something bad in that show, he seems like sad to do it. Whereas Joel in the games is a merciless fucking killer who will pull the trigger and not blink at you.
Yep.
Like he is a bad, he's a monstrous person.
Yep.
I feel like that side of him is not captured correctly. But his tenderness is really captured, especially with Pedro Pascal. But I think Ellie is a completely different character in the show. Like, completely different. Like, they molded the character to the actress in a way where it's like, okay, you are doing an interpretation of Ellie while creating something new also. And it's just not, it's not that character. It's just not that character. And, I think she's miscast entirely, really, as Ellie. I think she just looks too young for the role, and I don't like the choices they made with her character and the backstory with her relationship with Joel in season two. There's a lot that I have issues with the HBO show. So, in talking about all this and saying like, hey, I've had issues, I wanted to reappraise the game because I was like, I'm comparing all of these things to the game. If it is indeed doing it better, why not just experience it again and remember this stuff, And yeah, I think that's what I'm doing here. I think I'm really getting a lot out of it the second time around because you can't help but compare because I've seen this season 2 so far, and everything is just so much superior in the game. Like, just so superior. I feel like in the first season of the HBO show, it was really good, the changes they made, but it never trumped the game's quality. Ultimately, I always preferred the game's quality with rare exception. Like, the Bill stuff, I think, was better in the show. But in season 2, it just feels like the game is so vastly superior to the show adaptation. So vastly superior. It's kind of... it makes me wonder why I'm watching it. Because I'm like, I've already seen this. And it's better. So why do this again? And it's kind of like the exercise people are doing for the live-action Disney stuff. Where it's like... This is done with an amazing degree of artistry and wherewithal. I mean, in like the Disney animation stuff, like Lilo and Stitch is a great movie, but then they are bringing it back just to make more money, and it's killing apparently. But it's not even the same. They changed some stuff in that movie too. I'm like, why are you trying to bank on it again? And the answer is because it makes money, right? But
Yeah.
with changing things and altering them, you run the risk of morphing the identity of the thing that was beloved, right? And that's kind of what's happening here and with like The Last of Us Part Two. But yeah, in comparing the show to this, like I get, it's a critical reappraisal of it. I'm starting to really love this game again, and with the nature of the kind of impetus of the story, with what happens with one of the main characters. I mean, spoilers, I guess, if you haven't played this game. It's been 5 years almost. Joel gets brutally murdered, and you're basically trying to. Yeah, I know. He gets brutally murdered, and you're trying to go on this revenge quest to find his killer and murder her. And what follows is miserable affairs. There's a twist in the game where you start playing as a different character, and it's weird. It's weird. And I don't think it completely works. Maybe I changed my mind on this, but I also don't want to spoil things for you too because you haven't played it. So I'm not going to get into the weeds of it. I think you can kind of guess what happens. But yeah, that's kind of my background with this and how I'm coming at this and approaching it. So to preface this conversation, I only played up into when Ellie and Dina get into Seattle for the first time. So that is 2 hours in. It is after the prologue. It is the first real chapter of the game. It is after Tommy goes off to Seattle, basically, and you're trying to go after him and find Abby, right? So I have a very deep knowledge of this game. I know pretty much everything there is to know about it. I've played it multiple times. Well, I've beaten it once all the way through, but I've come to it many times to kind of square my thoughts on it. With you only playing the first, how do you feel about this game so far? I want your initial thoughts, what you like, what you don't like, what you're not sure about. Just give me a brief overview of the beginning of your time with The Last of Us Part 2. Let me hear it.
Yeah. I think Joel's a cool character. I hope nothing bad happens to him. I haven't gotten to the very far in the game, so I really hope nothing bad happens to him.
Yeah, forget what I said. That never happened.
Yeah. I'll be really upset if something bad happens to him. So
your text to me made me very happy today. Like, I love playing as Joel, whoop-de-doo, or whatever you say.
Yeah, I give it like the
you're hilarious.
the smiling with like the 3 hearts. I did that emoji on there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was great. No, but yeah, Joel's a alright character. He was cool in the first one. I liked seeing the game through his lens, but I also liked the portions where you play as Ellie. I mean, I played that DLC where you exclusively play as Ellie and thought that was fine. So both, like, all the moving parts of that game, I thought they worked real well, basically. So I would say that with this game, the starting stuff, feels like a lot of money went into this game. It's a money game.
It's
beautiful, gorgeous, expensive game. Yep. I just I would have to look around and take in everything. I'd have to look everywhere, and I wanted to explore this starting town, even before going out to town. When I was controlling Ellie, I'd explore her room. I'm oh, that's a cool robot on her shelf, Oh, she's got a PlayStation 3. That's pretty cool. Oh, Jack and Daxter collection. She plays good games.
Yeah.
So, I looked at the details and things like that, I wanted to really take this game in. So,
It's very, very dense for detail, especially in that opening area with Jackson. It's really fun to kind of see all the moving pieces because it feels like a town kind of burgeoning, right?
It's a real like living, breathing town. It feels like they've got that like really well done. I went into the sort of bar area. You talk to the one guy. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry for being a bigot. That was the alcohol, not me. But if I say it when I'm drunk, then it's actually probably me. So here's this sandwich." And she's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." And she's like, "Hey, you want this bigot sandwich?" So it was pretty funny. Just
good joke.
Like,
it's a good joke.
Next guy over. Like, yeah, I don't even want this thing. That's like, yeah, that's fair.
She gives it to Jesse. Yeah.
Yeah, like this guy is just like against everything that she is just like, yeah, I don't want this thing from him. By the way.
It's like a mom trying to get her kids to apologize to each other.
Yeah, that's literally what that Maria is. She's just like, yeah, you two need to, apologize. It's like, no, it's just not going to work out. We're not going to be friends, sorry.
No. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a fun opening. You get to, like, do the snowball fight.
Yeah.
I had a skill issue.
Yeah.
I lost the snowball fight.
Are you kidding?
No.
You're lying.
No.
Oh my god.
I haven't played a cover shooter in ages. I don't play these type of games.
Fair. So a good way to I gamified this where I was just picking up snowballs every time I could see it and throwing it at the same kid and it was counting. Like it was great. I was just like pelting him, picking up, pelting. I know. I won though. Oh
my gosh.
And I was playing on Grounded too, which I want to talk about a little bit.
So Dina ended up dying.
Yeah.
No, she just gets tackled by a bunch of kids, and you have to like pull the kids off her.
Get off her, you little shits!
Yeah. Does that happen when you win as well? I didn't bother going back and winning it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, I suck at this game. I already know I'm gonna suck at this game, so.
Are you just playing this on a moderate difficulty sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not good at these games.
So, that's fine. So, so if you're an hour in, did you do the scouting patrol with Ellie and Dina?
No, that's where I stopped before our.
Where you stopped? Okay,
podcast,
so you're watching a lot of the intro then.
So so I got through the snowball fight and was like, yeah, okay, well, I didn't win that, whatever. So I, so then you like get on your horses, and then it cuts to the new party, the
Abby's posse.
Yeah. Yep, her party. Abby Ellie. That's really weird. I don't know why they did that. That. But yeah, so you're with Abby's party, and they're like, I don't know. The two characters that I've met from her party so far, Abby and Owen, they don't really work for me. They just, I don't understand these characters yet. Maybe I haven't spent enough time with these characters yet, but they just, I felt like original Last of Us really built up Joel before it actually tried to make us care about Joel. Whereas this is just like, oh yeah, here's these characters. Abby seems really upset all the time, and then Owen just seems like, oh yeah, I was upset, but now I don't really care anymore because I like getting people pregnant, so that's more important to me.
This guy, he's something else. Okay, so without spoiling things, they do the inverse of what you're saying with Joel. Okay? Mm-hmm. Not to spoil it, because I know you're going to play this. Where they're doing all this build-up, and then they make you care. They almost do none of the build-up. but it's like if they do any build up, it's negative build up, and then they may try to make you care, and it doesn't work. And that is the major problem I have with this game, is they try to put the shoes back on your feet.
Yeah, maybe it'll work for me. Who knows? I'll give it a chance.
Maybe.
But
yeah. I like to see it. Yeah.
But
let's put it this way: there are two halves of this game, and there are very specifically two halves.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to see what your thoughts are, in a non-spoilery context for now. So.
Yeah. I'll definitely play through this thing. But yeah, the guy's like, yeah, I don't really want to do this whole, killing thing anymore. I'm assuming they're going to go kill Joel. And she's like, well, I'll just go do it myself. And so that's kind of what you are doing. And this is the first, actual, gameplay of it. So I'm like, oh gosh, I gotta actually kill the zombies and stuff. I wasn't doing too bad. I was gotta aim with my controller. I haven't done controller shooter in forever. Gotta hit the head. I hit him.
Yep.
So I never ran out of ammo, so I wasn't having too much of a skill issue. But then they taught me how to do the stealth kills. I'm like, oh, the stealth kill. I'm gonna play Ghost of Tsushima. So that's what I did. Every zombie after that stealth kill was pretty much a stealth kill for me. That was just my thing, was just stealth killing them, because
you can basically go through most of that game stealthing.
Yeah. And
you'll mostly get the way. So I don't want to spoil gameplay stuff. There is an enemy faction in this game that will make it two enemy factions in this game that will make it very hard for you to stay in stealth. Very hard. They are mobile, they can track you, and they are very smart. The AI in this game is incredible, by the way. There's not a lot of dumb enemies you're fighting. It feels like they're people, or real zombies or something. So you're incentivized to stealth, at least initially, but at some point you're going to have to
Listen, I've played so much Monster Hunter, I am conserving every single bullet. I'm counting my bullets. Okay? I'm counting them.
If you are playing on a moderate difficulty, you'll be tripping over bullets at some point.
Okay. That's what always happens to me with these sorts of games. I always get hyper conservative with my resources and end up a million resources.
So that is what's happening to me. What you're saying is what's happening to me. I am playing on the hardest difficulty that you can play. I'm playing on Grounded.
Sure.
I beat the first game like that on PS4. It is one of my favorite gameplay experiences ever. I loved playing it on that hardest difficulty, because most of the game, if you are smart, you can basically just take over and stealth your way through it.
You play
if you're smart.
A lot of stealth games like Hitman and stuff like that.
I do.
I don't play those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So I kind of suck at this type of game.
And I play a lot of single player games and third person games, so I'm very used to this sort of interaction, especially on a gamepad, right? But the first game is so good and so deep in its systems, you can play it without. So basically, the thing about Grounded is that it is the hardest difficulty. It's survival difficulty. It's not one shot you're dead or anything like that. But you have no HUD, none at all. You have, aside from buttoning into your weapons, you have no hearing ability, which is your Batman vision, whatever, that you can use to see enemies behind walls. You have none of that, and enemies do so much damage when they hit you. 2 hits, you are done. So it makes firefights really tough. It doesn't take enemies don't become bullet sponges, which I appreciate. They might take an extra bullet to the head or something, like a clicker.
Sure.
You will, instead of a 2-shot, it's going to take 3.
That's fine.
Maybe sometimes 4, sometimes 4. But it makes it stressful, specifically because your ammo counts are very low in Grounded. You will have to scavenge everything everywhere, basically all at once. You have to really pay attention to what you're doing, where you're going. And I think it works because the checkpointing is very forgiving. for grounded. So if you fail, you can kind of jump back pretty before an encounter really, and it'll save it for you. But the intensity and difficulty of those encounters are really hard, especially towards the mid game with Ellie when she's in Seattle. You're fighting like 20 to 30 enemies at a time, and it's really tough. And you're having to stay on your feet, and you can't stealth all the way too, because there's specifically enemies that do not talk, that will just attack you, and you don't know where they're coming from. You don't hear them. You don't see them, and they're a human faction. That's the thing this game does really right. Are the enemy encounters are just absolutely brilliant. The AI is whip smart, extremely deadly. They flank you. They basically have almost all the movement capabilities that you do. And there's different types of enemies that you're fighting. The ones that I'm talking about fight primarily with bows and arrows in Seattle. You'll know it when you see it. When you hear it, it is a terrifying encounter because they do not communicate normally. And you'll see what I mean. Again, I don't want to spoil all of it because the encounters are that important to you enjoying this game. But yeah, you're definitely getting onto the gameplay heavy portion of the prologue. So once you get on horseback with Dina and go do your little scouting trip, you'll get your legs underneath you, kind of figure out what you're doing. But it kind of cuts back and forth between her and Abby, at least for the beginning prologue. So.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember liking the gameplay alright of that first when I was really in it for the story. It's not really my type of game. I don't play a lot of like shooty McShoot games. It's just not really my thing. But for that type of game, I liked it alright. So so far I've liked the gameplay of this alright. It's different than what I usually play, so that's nice. But yeah, I'm basically just here for the story mostly.
If that's the case, I would even play it on a light difficulty, like just as light as you want. You can even like change.
I don't.
You can even change sliders and do. Yeah, you can even change sliders and make auto targeting too if you want to make it easier on yourself. Whatever.
I'll manage. I'm sure it can't be that tough.
I'm sure you will.
I want to have some gameplay just to keep me engaged with it, but I'm not really interested in the hardest thing for this game. That's not really what I'm here for. But
for sure. And okay, so basically, like, you encountered that spoiler years ago of Joel dying. It's like the main thing about that game is that they kill a very beloved character, and I think that is very dangerous because he is so beloved. I don't think they fully earn that with that game. It feels like a shock jockey a little bit, but they wanted to do it and give Ellie kind of a reason to go on, and I respect the audacity, but I don't know if the execution is all there. It is way better done in the game than in the show. The show is kind of the laughing stock for how they portray that scene specifically. It's just like, what are you guys doing?
Do they make you not like Ellie? That's my concern. Do they at least try to make you not like Ellie in this game?
That is a complicated question.
Yeah.
That is okay. It is really going to be how you perceive her by the end of the game. So the entire game is about revenge. It's a cycle of vengeance, what it does to people, ultimately how empty you become because of it. It feels like an exercise in futility, and she is involved in this cycle in a way where you're going to have to square your feelings about what she's doing. Like if you agree with her 100% of the way, or like how she's done things, like she is a very complicated character in this game. Like at some point you're just like, you need to just stop. Like you just need to stop, but she just wants to keep going, The ending of this game is one of the most polarizing things I've ever encountered in any piece of media. I was frustrated. I was kind of shocked. I was exhausted by the end of this game. Ultimately, it felt like 30 hours of misery my first time I played through it. But a lot of it had to do, I think, is, it's a very weary feeling game and world. It takes place in a pandemic, and it came out during COVID, and I was feeling pretty rotten during COVID.
That would probably do it. Yeah.
I don't think that helped.
Yeah.
So, having some time removed from it, I wonder how I feel. That's kind of why I'm doing this.
Yep.
So. Yeah. So you're in the early portions of that. So.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have much else in this, but one thing I wanted to ask about: can you play Crash Bandicoot in this game?
Nope. You can play it in Uncharted 4. There is a.
That's what it was. Okay.
There is a funny joke involving Crash Bandicoot you will hear and you will laugh at. It's on the next part you're coming to. So
I thought that was this game for some reason where you played Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, you play a small interstitial with Nathan Drake playing Crash Bandicoot. He's like, I don't play video games, which is ironic because he's a video game player or character. But it's whatever. So yeah, not much that we both played at the beginning, but hopefully you kind of chip away at this and kind of update me every once in a while.
Oh yeah, I'll chip away at it for sure. Yeah, I'm sure I'll like parts of it, but I'm just concerned that it's gonna make me like the first one less.
Don't think you will be at risk of that. I think it will make you love that game more. I really do. I think there is a certain modicum of respect that the creators of that first game have for their characters that is not shared with the second game. The second game, it's like, I feel like they don't respect their characters enough in some ways, specifically with Joel as a character, and then Ellie later. But yeah, I really want to know what you're coming to with it. So that's kind of what I wanted to see, like, how you would do with this exercise, because it's a very complex game with a lot of stuff to talk about. Very, very dense game.
I'll get through it.
But yeah, that's kind of for sure. Just chip away at it, and we'll talk about it when you want. But yeah, that's pretty much it for there. Let's do a topic. Let's make it pretty short, because it's getting late by the time we're talking about this. Because I want to hit a couple other things, but I wanted to talk about the Summer Game Directs. Maybe let's do like 2 or 3 of the things that you're expecting to show up here. I have a list of things that I thought of. I will pare it down specifically. You don't even have to go by show. You can just think of 2 or 3 things that you could think of that might show up here at any of the summer stuff. There is that Xbox show coming in mid-June. PlayStation should have something in June, is the rumor. Nintendo apparently is rumored to have something coming after Switch's launch. And then you have Summer Games Fest. So this is all happening within a 1 to 2 month time frame. I guess take it if you have anything you think is going to show up at any of these things. Just give me 1 to 3 examples, because I have it off the dome too. So
yeah, I'll just start with something that I really want. That some kind of Fire Emblem, whether it's that Genealogy of the Holy War remake or like an entirely new game, I don't really care at this point. I just want some kind of new Fire Emblem that isn't Engage and has nothing to do with Engage, because they need to move away from that one. That one was fine in a vacuum, but they just need to move on from that one.
It's the best playing of those games in years, but the story is just so crap.
Yeah, it's hard to play that just because that story is so bad.
Yeah, totally. I'm with you there 100%. We've talked about it multiple times on these podcasts that they have had that Genealogy of the Holy War in the hopper for years, and they've been sitting on it. And they do that with a lot of their games. Metroid Prime 2 has been up-res for years too, and they have not put that out yet either. And this has been corroborated by multiple sources, for sure. So it's just a matter of what they're going to do, and I think it might just be like hey, we have a notch in our schedule. We're just going to put it out, and we're going to just go with it. I wonder when that hits. I think if we're going to see it, it's going to be this year. It's just a matter of which one is it at, and does it come out this year? Like, is it going to be at the summer directs or is it going to be at the fall directs? Because they're probably going to have 2 more for the Switch 2, I imagine. They're done with Switch 1. They will probably show games in their conferences that run on Switch 1.
Yep.
But it's primarily Switch 2 games all the time, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds the right way to be. They do need to get the cost down of that Switch 2, because I don't think it's going to sell as well as they want. They're going to have another 3DS situation, I think. But if they can recover like they did with the 3DS, I think it can be pretty successful.
Something that is going to help alleviate that, though, is tariffs have been blocked by a judge recently in courts.
Yeah.
And so that's going to stave that off even further.
A lot of those costs from Nintendo were pre-tariff, though, just for like the record.
They were pre-tariff, and they were building some of it into the price for sure.
I don't think that was the
case.
Case.
They have said as much, that they built in a very small percentage of tariffs into the price for the American versions, not the whatever percentage they would be levied for the future.
The main reason why I say that is because they have a version of the Switch 2 that is actually reasonably priced, but it's Japanese only.
Yes, right.
So everything that, like, the versions of that thing that went out to literally the rest of the world were the ones that were like more aggressively priced or less aggressively priced. They like higher pricing. I don't know. I don't like that they did that. I don't know if that's the right way to be with that sort of thing. I get the idea behind it, but I don't think that's the right way to be with a console like that, like selling it significantly cheaper in your homeland. Like, I don't think that's the right way to be with that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree for sure. So, I guess, do you want to ping pong or do you want to take it with the second one?
Oh, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So mine is kind of a dual sort of thing. It could be either or. I think it might be one, not two. Either Persona 6 gets shown at this Xbox thing,
I would lose my mind.
Or Persona 4 Rewind gets shown.
Yeah.
I think there's been more smoke about Persona 4 recently because of the court filings, the trademarks. Recently, Yuri Lowenthal was on Twitter saying that they did not want him to come back for the new voice cast for Rewind or 4, whatever. So they are going to recast it like I thought they would, which is a huge bummer for me. But it's in keeping with what they did with Reload. So whatever. They have Microsoft brand deals. Atlas does. They had it with Metaphor ReFantazio, where that game appeared on Game Pass. Same for Reload, which was a day one Game Pass game. They have co-marketing deals with Xbox. The collector's edition for Metaphor was a primarily Xbox shipped item. They made more of that than the other SKUs, which is hilarious to me. I could see them co-market a release trailer or teaser, whatever, of either Persona 6 or 4 Rewind. I think it'd probably be Rewind because of the most recent news about it. But if I'm a selfish person, I want 6 because I want to see what 6 looks like.
It's probably going to be both, I would say. I would imagine they have.
That's kind of why I shoved it together. I would love like a Persona block. That would be unbelievable.
Also, my head, I'm going through. You know what color motif they've never done with Persona?
Green?
Yeah. I can't wait for green Persona marketed with Microsoft.
I thought of this too. I did think of this too. Yeah.
That's going to be awesome.
Yep. I thought of the exact same thing for sure. You know, day one on Game Pass, whatever you want to say.
The green Persona.
It's not going to be the main Persona 5 team working on that. It's probably going to be but because the main Persona 5 team, a lot of them went off to become Studio Zero for Metaphor. They do have that regular I forget what they call that. P Studio is what they call it. It's a branch off of that.
Yep.
They do have them still working on things, but they created a secondary team to create Persona 3 Reload. So there's technically 3 teams at Atlas under Persona. It's P Studio, it's Studio Zero, and then it's that secondary Persona team for Reload. So I think 6 is probably right. Yeah, Reload is a very good game. I think 6 is going to be under P Studio again, and I think that Reload is going to be the same, or Rewind is going to be the same as Reload. I really think that's going to be the case.
Yeah.
And then I think Studio Zero is probably just going to make either another Metaphor or another standalone game. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
And if they can support all those structures and make them, of the same quality and annual and not annual but semi-annual cadence, maybe every 2 years, 3 years, putting out something on a kind of a cycle, I think it'd be really good. It'd be tough to release 2 Personas in the same year, though. So I wonder how they spread that out. You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't think it'd be a huge problem, but it would be cutting into your same fan base too. So I don't know. It's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah.
You think with a Persona 6 they try the female protagonist thing again?
I think they could. I think the thing that would be more interesting to me is if it didn't take place in high school.
That won't
I think
happen.
It should be in college.
That
I don't
won't
think
happen.
so either. I
That'd
think it'd
more
be better if it was
interesting,
in college.
but it won't happen.
Well, so Persona 1 takes place in high school. Persona 2 does not. Persona 2 covers adults in like the world doing things like
You
no,
start
the main
that game
character
in
I believe
school. I've
no,
played
you
the beginning
do.
of that
You
game.
do. The second not Persona 2 Innocent Sin.
Eternal
I think it's Eternal
Punishment.
What
Is this?
I think it's the female led
Okay,
sequel.
I haven't played that one.
I'm
yet.
pretty sure it does not
Okay.
take place in high school.
Yeah.
Because I think she like works at a newspaper or something like that. So that's like one of the one breaks they did from the entire series for Persona. And yeah, definitely 1 is like all high school stuff with like timelines and all that. I'm almost done with 1. I can really attest to that. But yeah, I think in keeping of they will probably do a high school setting, even though personally I wouldn't want that.
Yeah.
I just think I just want them to take the right lessons from what they've done. If they can just take the right mature theming from Metaphor, I think we can see a lot of good,
Even the mature theming.
They're getting
from,
better. They're getting better.
Like there was some really strong mature theming in Persona 3. I think they could, and even like 2 and 1. I think they could bring back some of those themes.
Yeah. Yeah, they started backsliding in 4 and 5. But like I feel like 3 is there's not a lot of issues in 3 with that stuff. There's a hint of that with the teacher that you're, on the online server with or whatever,
Sure,
MMO.
but
it's not even a problem really.
They
I
make
don't
it
think.
very clear that she's not too happy that was her student. Like
Yes, she's not very happy at all. So if they
very
do a
stark
certain,
contrast
like,
to 5.
wink, yeah, totally. Like if they do a wink and nod stuff, then sure,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really that if they change that theming of perversion, I think it would go a long way for me personally. Because just sexualizing high school kids is not interesting to me at all, and it's
Well,
frankly gross,
I would hope not.
Yeah, right. But like they seem to serve this like weird fan servicey fantasy that
Like,
is that
They're
for
trying
people.
to have a message, but 5 just goes about it in such a weird way, and the fact that they just backpedal on their message when it's like the other way around is just like, oh my gosh, people, what are you doing? You can't have a social link with the teacher in the same one, romantic social link with the teacher, in the same one that you have the teacher that's like a lecture, like that. Like I get that there's consent in one and not consent in another, but there's still high school students. It's still weird. Still doesn't make
It's still
it
taboo.
much better.
It's still taboo.
Yeah. Like
it's still
maybe
taboo.
it makes it a little bit better. Sure, fine. You got me,
Yeah.
but it's still not great. Like it's still not great.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Stop.
Right.
Stop it,
So-
Alice.
Ultimately, yeah, I think having that at the Xbox show seems the most obvious to me out of pretty much everything I have listed here. I can really see that happening this year. It's a matter of if it happens. I don't know. Xbox is such a third-party nebulous thing now. Who knows what they have where, So, do you have a second one?
Yeah. And I'm gonna be selfish again with this one. I want one of these big studios to at least run something on Nirvana. That's a game that I've been waiting for. That's by the same people that made Valhalla, VA11 Hall A, and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for something on this game to be released. Maybe, hopefully, one of these big studios can spotlight it and try and have it, because I feel like Valhalla was a pretty big deal and a lot of people liked that game, and it was on quite a few consoles. It was on PS Vita, it was on PS4, it was on Switch, so surely one of these companies is oh hey, that Nirvana game that you're making, can we show something on that? So maybe they show something on that. That's my hope. Then I can see that game exists. I don't really care about Silk Song.
Right.
This is my Silk Song.
Yeah, I need to play Valhalla too. I've heard, you've told me a million times how good it is.
It's one of the greatest.
I have it downloaded
visual
on my
novels of all
PlayStation,
time.
so
Yeah.
right. I have it downloaded on my PlayStation, so I'm getting close.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think that'd be good. Yeah, I've seen some footage of that game, or people talking about it at the very least, and going oh wow, that sounds really
It's an
interesting.
incredible
What they're
game.
kind of going for.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's a good pick. I like that. I like that a lot. So, another one that is fairly obvious. I just don't know where it's going to show up. This might be a PlayStation Showcase sort of thing, or a Jeff Keighley thing with the Summer Games Fest. It's Final Fantasy IX Remake.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be somewhere in the summer. I think it's probably going to be a fall game, and it's going to be... I think it's going to sell some Switch 2s. I really do. These early crop of Switch 2 capable games are really going to make a lot of copies fly off the shelves and sell a lot of units. I think Cyberpunk for Switch 2 is going to be a huge game.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a huge seller. It's in a state now where it is a very well-regarded game. On top of having DLC that's even better than the main game too, I think it's going to do really well. And also Hitman, World of Assassination, having it all complete is a big deal. A Bravely Default remaster is gigantic for the launch of this console. It needs something big that has not hit yet, And I think this might be one of the first games that intros on the Switch that is of a known quantity, in the RPG space. I think this is maybe one of those games.
Oh yeah, that's one of the greatest.
They have gestured all year at this game, they've been going it's coming, but we can't show you anything yet. And I think they're waiting a couple more weeks. So, Final Fantasy IX Remake is another one I think is going to happen. So, yeah. You have one or two more. I have one or two more too. So,
I mean, I'd like to see more on Redditon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. That would be a Summer Games Fest thing, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of getting
isn't
a block.
too far off, I don't think.
Yeah, I think it just needs to be shown a little bit more.
Yep.
Just to see what the differences are from Patapon, maybe. Yep. What's the hook of that game? Is it just Patapon? Is that it?
Yeah. It seems like it's incorporating
it?
things from multiple Patapon games. It's trying to incorporate what people liked about each of them. Because 1 and 2 are about the same, but 3 is really different from those two, and it seems like it's trying to incorporate some things from 3, some things from 2, and some things just from the core formula. But it's trying to do its own thing as well. So I want to see more on that game. I want to see that game. I'm looking forward to that game. I'm really hoping I like that game. So.
Yeah. That's going to be really interesting to see. I wonder what they show. Because I think it might show up, for sure. So, honestly, if I'm honest with you, I think Xbox is the most known quantity here, because they have a set time for when they're doing something. They have a lot of games they have been putting out. Most of them at a very good, if not, well-made quality. I think there is more games coming from them. As of when they're coming, I don't know. They're going to show more of that Gears game. They're probably going to show some gameplay of Gears of War E-Day. They're probably going to show more of the Gears of War 1 remaster that's coming to PlayStation. I'm sure they will show a little bit of cutscenes and up-res stuff for that. Just some quick hits there, I guess. The next thing they need to really show off, because that game got pushed, is Fable. They have to show a chunk of that game. They need to show real gameplay, real HUD elements. They need to show a lot of that.
Is this a new Fable or a remake of a Fable game?
This is a new Fable. This is a reboot of Fable. The original three... Okay. Yes, the original 3 were done by Lionhead Studios, which was the Peter Molyneux factory. Some of those games are well regarded. 3, not as much. 2 is probably the high point of that series. There was a couple spin-offs here and there. It was like a Kinect game, whatever. Yeah. But Lionhead has since gone under, and Molyneux has left the studio years ago. So this IP was given to Playground Games, the creators of Forza Horizon. And they specialize in car games, so they are relatively unproven in the third-person action space, because I think that's kind of what this game is treating in. And so it's going to be interesting to see what they can do in terms of like making a functional RPG, because it's probably going to be an expensive game, and they've had a long time to work on it. This thing got announced like 6-7 years ago. So if the fact that it's getting pushed another year is a big deal. Xbox's show is going to be interesting because I think that's going to get shown. I think they're going to show more Gears stuff. And I think they're going to show at least a trailer, a teaser of Elder Scrolls 6. I think it's the year. I really do. Especially since everybody's...
Before GTA 6?
They won't release it, of course. That game's probably going to be 2 or 3 more years off.
Yeah.
But I think the irons are hot enough coming off of Oblivion, the Oblivion remaster. People are paying attention and saying, "Hey, do you have something new?" I think it's time to show something rather than just a logo, because it kind of happens on the cycle. Like they're getting close to that. So the Xbox show is the most interesting to me. I really feel that way.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 things that I think are not confirmed, but I think could be possibilities, is 1, Resident Evil 9. I think that game is probably... I've heard that it's going to be different. It's going to be more maybe open zone sort of thing. Who knows if it's third person, first person? Who knows?
Open world.
Yeah. I don't know how it manifests. I don't know what type of game it is. I've heard that it's going to be structurally different than other Resident Evil games. Who knows? It would be interesting to see at Summer Games Fest. It might be a Jeff Keighley thing. But it depends on who they're partnering with. They showed Resident Evil 8, I think, at a Sony thing years ago, Village. So who knows if they do that again. They also could be remaking Resident Evil 0 or Code Veronica. It's really a matter of what they want to do, because they're going to remake a lot of their old stuff. Probably 0, because 0 kind of is the redheaded stepchild of all those games. Oh, yeah. Veronica is as well. Like, both of those games kind of need a facelift, if not a complete overhaul. So Resident Evil as a series, they're going to do something. Veronica. They do like Veronica. People really don't prefer 0.
Yeah.
So there needs to be some major changes in the kind of the remake-ification of those, because the remakes of 2, 3, and 4 are stellar, especially 2 and 4. Oh my God, 2 is one of the best games ever, best horror games ever.
Yeah.
So the Resident Evil series as a whole is very interesting. A couple from the PlayStation end of things. I think Cory Barlog's game could get shown at least a little bit. The creator of the God of War reboot stuff. He also directed God of War 2. He's kind of gone into hiding ever since God of War Ragnarok, which was directed by somebody different. I could see them show off his new project in maybe a teaser-ish capacity. Very intergalactic feeling from last year, where they just showed some stuff, some assets that they made, to kind of get the word out that, hey, we're making a video game, you know. It's TBD on that. I don't know. That's not something I've heard. I just feel like it could come. Who really knows? You know, who really knows? And they're going to show more Ghost of Tsushima stuff, or Ghost of Yote. Yep. They're going to show more of that there. Probably some real gameplay. It's a game I'm going to buy. It comes out in October.
Yep.
I wonder what the appetite for that game is going to be. It's going to be high because it's a Sony game, right? Mm-hmm. But I wonder what the appetite is going to be given that Shadows has come out this year. I wonder how many people are going to play that game. I think it'll be high, but would it have been higher if Shadows had not come out? That's kind of what I'm asking, you know?
I mean, it's the only game on like PS5, so Ghost of Yote. So
yeah.
They haven't had a game
it's
yet.
It's the only big game in a long time of that stature to have come out. They've really pulled back on putting.
It was like that and Astro Bot are like the only games they ever released on that thing. So.
Well, of a high quality, at least recently. And I guess they could talk about a New Horizon. I don't give a shit personally. It's whatever.
Are they doing another one of those?
They're going to complete that trilogy, I suppose. And I think it's probably going to be not over, but they're probably going to put that on the back burner to work on something else. Guerrilla, anyway. But yeah, I think that might be some of the stuff we could look forward to. Death Stranding comes out right after this stuff. It is the end of June, so that will be the next big game after all the conferences. I kind of want to. I've been hearing really good things about it. Like, people were going to Japan and playing 40 hours of that game, which is insane. Which is an insane preview. And I've heard really positive things about that. So that's going to be the next big, gem on the horizon. But
yeah.
I just want to see how this year fills out. Like, there's a lot of stuff we don't know yet. We were halfway through the year. We're the back end of the calendar has not been filled out. I think Xbox has done more than enough this year to be okay with not releasing again the rest of the year. They might have a surprise up their sleeve. Past the Gears of War stuff, I don't know. PlayStation's got their stuff coming out. It's really Nintendo. I want to see how they fill out, and I want to see how the third parties, kind of pick up the slack. I wonder what we see. I'm not sure. It might be a lot of announcements. It might not be a lot of game releases, if that makes sense. So, I don't know.
Yeah, with the Nintendo stuff, the only game that is like really coming from a third party that's like a game just for the Switch Switch 2 is Duskbloods, and that doesn't come out till like next year. It's like the only thing.
Right, and they're not going to show that thing.
No.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing I really know of that's like going to be like a killer app for the Switch 2. Like, that's just for the Switch 2. You can't get it anywhere else besides like the first party Nintendo stuff like the Mario Kart and the Donkey Kong. So
this is what I'll say too. If that Switch Direct that has been rumored is going to hit right after the Switch 2 launches, and maybe a July or June thing, because they're going to have a summer event. It's just a matter of what and when.
Yep.
I think Silk Song is going to get talked about there, and it could probably shadow drop. I really do believe that.
Yeah.
I think they're waiting. I think they were waiting for the Switch 2 to come out. I really do. It's interesting they didn't do it a launch day thing, because that would have been gigantic for them. But launch window is still something they could do.
Yep.
It really depends. That game needs to come out. It needs to come out soon. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's next month is going to be kind of crazy. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I think Death Stranding 2 will probably be one of the best in its genre.
Yeah, Strand type games. So the one that's in there. Yeah. It'll
be the second Strand type game. So
yeah,
one of the best.
True. It's that and freaking Flipnote Community, right? The Strand type game.
Yeah. sure.
But yeah, that's kind of our topic. Quickly, let's kind of like run in kind of what we're looking into. I'll be quick with all my stuff.
Yeah.
Real quick, because I want to hear about Vigilantes a little bit. The first thing I want to talk about is we got Pac-Man donuts from Krispy Kreme. They were actually really good, though. They were really good. They had like 3 or 4 types of flavors. One that was like a maze of ghosts, and one was the strawberries that you can get, and one was the actual Pac-Man with like a buttercream on top. Each were super good. I was complaining about the strawberry one because the actual donut itself wasn't glazed, but it was so rich biting into that thing. I was like, man, I kind of needed the neutral donut to kind of temper how sweet everything else was. Right. And everything was filled with like really good buttercream.
Nice.
Yeah, fun promotion. I think you should check it out before they take it away.
When they like handed it to you, did you go like waka waka waka?
That's exactly what I did. I did it in the window, and everyone cheered, and they said, "Yes, yes, you deserve this."
No, we're in the window. No, I'm gonna go into the store in front of God and everyone else, and I'm gonna get my donut, and 100%. I'm gonna be like, "Waka waka waka."
Waka waka. Yeah. I did that. Just that thing.
You did that?
But yeah, it kind of. Oh, I did that. I did that. I ate it all. Yeah, it is kind of part of our Missouri trip was doing that. And then also, a lot of money at Alamo. We spent over $100 eating food. Well, yeah. It was awesome. And we watched the new Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, which was very good. Very good. Very good.
Did you get the butter truffle popcorn?
Butter truffle? No, we got the regular.
Oh, is butter truffle good? You missed out. The butter truffle is literally the greatest popcorn I've ever had anywhere. Is the butter truffle from Alamo.
I'll have to get it next time.
I didn't even know about this thing, and then I was watching a movie with my sister not too long ago, like a few months ago. She's like, "Oh yeah, you should try this butter truffle popcorn." And I tried it. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. This is amazing."
Okay.
It's so amazing.
I'll have to try it next time. Yeah, because I was looking at different flavors. My wife's a normie. She's like, just butter. Fair. I ate a bunch. I ate a bunch of food. It was awesome. It was so much fun. Yeah, I watched that. The movie was excellent. It's like 2.5 hours. There's some crazy action scenes in that movie. There's like a crazy thing underwater. There's like airplane stunts where he's like literally doing like acrobatics on the wing of a plane. It's insane. Tom Cruise is insane. I think it's so good. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Ever seen the movies in general?
Oh, I've never seen a single one. No.
Yeah, they're great.
When he's underwater, does he go like, "Glub glub glub, join the Church of Scientology"? Glub glub glub.
That's what he says. Yes.
That's what he says.
He goes, "Look at the stars with me."
I love that.
Yeah, poor Tommy. He just wants to save cinema. Don't bully him. Yeah, I caught up with The Last of Us Season 2. We talked about it. The ending of that is abrupt and very silly. There's some memes going on about how abrupt it is. It's kind of funny. And we watched more of The Pit, just the show we've been watching. It's really good. We watched Man in Black 1 tonight. That movie's great. I forgot how good that movie is. That is a goopy ass movie. There is a lot of goop in that movie. Nope. Like everyone is wet as hell in that movie. Really good costuming and effects, especially. So
I like that roach guy.
That was a good one. Yeah. Totally. He's like, "Oh, give me sugar water," and you're like,
"Ooh." Yeah. You're like, "Yeah, I'll give you sugar water."
Yeah, I love sugar water.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we've been getting into. Men in Black 1's good. We might watch the second one tomorrow. Who knows? But yeah,
that
second one's not as good.
No, the second one's better. Second one's better.
I like the first one better. I think the first one's better.
I don't know. They're both pretty good, but
it's been about 15 years since I've seen 2, so
that's the one I've seen over and over again. I've only seen the first one a few times, but I've seen that second one over and over and over again because it's just been on TV a lot compared to that first one. So.
Fair. Oh yeah, that thing went triple platinum on TV. It was like the tombstone for for freaking FX or whatever. Yeah, it was always on.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what I've been getting into. Just quick hits there.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about My Hero Academia Vigilantes to kind of end this thing. Because what's the hook of this show?
Yeah, so it's like just a normal college guy, and he's in the My Hero world, and he's got like his own little quirk, but it's like kind of a sort of crappy one. He like puts his like four limbs on the ground, and he can sort of like propel himself by like repelling different like gravitational forces on his palms and feet to like slide along the ground, sort of. And that's kind of like what his quirk is. So he kind of like glides around on the ground on all fours.
That's pretty cool.
It is, but it's just one of those things that's just like it's kind of weird when he does it, and people around him don't particularly like him doing that, like sliding around on the ground. People think it's a little bit weird. And so he's just kind of like looked down on for it. And he's like, yeah, it's not really like a useful thing. It's not really a powerful quirk. And so he's like, yeah, I'm not really going to be a hero, but I really like heroes. And so I want to at least like help out my community. So he kind of just like goes around, like does like helpful things in like a hero costume and like an All Might hoodie, basically.
All Might hoodie, yeah.
And he like goes around and he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna like pick up trash around town and stuff like that.
Oh, what a sweetheart.
And he's like, yeah, I'm a good guy, you know, I'm doing the things. And they call him like Mr. Nice Guy as like his hero sort of name or whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then all of a sudden he basically like gets caught up with like these like guys that are like trying to like physically harm this girl, and he's like, I don't know if I'm the right guy for this job, but I'm like supposed to be a hero or whatever, so I'm gonna at least try and do something. And then like this guy that's like basically like like in TMNT when like Raphael goes off and like does his own thing.
Oh yeah.
That's basically what this guy is. He's a knuckle duster, and he just kind of like pounds these guys into like the wall, and then he's like, "Hey, I saw you tried to like do the right thing. You want to become a vigilante with me?" He's like, I don't know. And he's like, yeah, no, you're actually just gonna do it. And so he just like takes him, and like he like goes to like his like the guy's house, the college student's house, and he like starts basically living in this college student's house with him, and then like the other girl like joins them too, and like the three of them are like a vigilante group pretty much. So they're like it's a really interesting like underlying social commentary in this system as well, because it's like, yeah, they got like the heroes villain system, but like it has its like complications, and it's like, you know, well, they you can't really get somebody unless if they're actively doing something bad, whereas you know, like if they're like doing it in a way that, you know, skirts around the law, the heroes can't really touch them, you know. And it's like, are the people getting these hero licenses really great people to begin with? Because, like, you know, in the actual show, there's, like, the stuff with, like, Endeavor and all that. And so, like...
Yeah, right. So it's, like, social dynamics with superheroes. That's cool.
Yes. That's, like, the entire crux of the show is social dynamics with superheroes. And, so, yeah, they're in this, like, weird, interesting, like, vigilante group. And really, like, in the framing of the show, they're like, yeah, these guys are pretty much like they are that's kind of how heroes were before the hero system came about. They were just kind of vigilantes until they made like an actual like hero system. It was just like people going around using their quirks to help other people, and that became the hero system because governments wanted to be able to like sort of control that thing. And so
kind of use them as weapons almost.
Yeah. And so and also just like be able to like put a lid on like things they didn't want people to do with their quirks, right?
Sure.
And what
Sure.
like decide what quirks were dangerous to society and what weren't. You know, what classifies somebody as a villain, things like that. And
Right.
yeah, it's like, and then like, yeah, it's pretty much just like a popularity contest. Like, if you're popular enough, you're a hero. If you're not popular enough, you're a villain. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, it gets pretty deep with its social commentary. That's for sure.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I gotta check. I gotta check it out. So I'm trying to catch up on some stuff.
Yeah.
With like Shampoo and all that, but I put that on my list to watch.
Yeah,
I will
it's
get
really
into it.
good. I would say that I'd recommend this to somebody who's not even watched My Hero, if they're interested at all in like the series or even just like in superheroes in general, because this is standalone enough to where you can definitely watch this and it doesn't like spoil anything.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
it's a prequel sort of thing, so like everything's that's happening is happening before the show My Hero.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Gotcha.
like
Okay.
it. It's gone straight into like my list of like shows that are like sort of a young adult focused anime, because like the main character is like college age, he's like 19, and
Cool.
so yeah, it's a great show. I really like it. I really like the characterization of like the main cast, and I think that the main guy is cool. I think that Knuckle Duster is cool. So yeah.
Yeah. Knuckle Duster looks cool. I
Yeah.
do like the way he looks.
Yep.
Yeah. I will be watching this weekend for sure. This looks
Yep.
really, really good.
Yeah, I kind of just binge watched what was out right now, and I love
Yeah,
it.
is
So.
it a simuldub? It looks like it's simuldub. Interesting.
It might be. That sounds right.
Yeah, they usually don't for My Hero, which is kind of funny. I have always liked the dubs for that, so I watched it that way. I'm primarily a sub person these days, but yeah, the dubs.
If you watch
for the My
that
Hero
dub,
stuff
let
has
me
been
know
great.
how it is, because I've been watching the
Yeah, I
sub.
will.
So
I think I will be watching the dub. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure it's a great dub.
Um,
That they usually do a good job with those My Hero dubs. So.
Yeah, they really do. Yeah.
I don't
But
think
yeah.
that Bones is animating this one though. I think it's a different studio, and Bones is just
Oh.
supervising, for what I understand. But I could be wrong on that.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure they were all hands on deck for the final season for a long time.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they're
Which is
probably
gonna be
who knows what
phenomenal,
they're going
I'm
to do
sure.
next. I
Yeah.
wonder what Bones is going to move to. After
Yeah, I
this.
don't know.
Yeah, because they've been working on My Hero for the better part of a decade.
Ages.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, I'm really going to get back into seasonal anime, and I wanted to watch Orb that you brought up. I got
Yes,
Netflix
you'll
again.
love Orb. Orb is so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I will
finished
be
Orb,
watching.
and Orb was phenomenal.
Yeah, I've been watching stuff with the wife, but I need to pick up stuff for myself again. So yeah, that's something I'm going to be doing this weekend. But
Cool.
yeah, that's a podcast, dude. How you
Yep.
feel about that? I like that. That was
We've
good.
casted our pod.
We have casted our pod. By the time we record again, we're gonna have Switch 2s. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really excited. We'll have some. I'll have some things to say about Mario Kart World for sure. We'll both be talking about Flying Fairy,
Oh, yeah.
the Bravely Default remaster.
Yep.
I will be playing the ever loving crap out of that. I might even get the Hitman Signature Edition. There's a good chance I
Maybe.
get that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what else. I'll probably have some more to talk about with the Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom upreses and
yeah.
rejiggers. So I'm excited to talk about those. It's gonna be awesome. That's all hands on deck next week for Switch 2's
Yeah.
stuff.
I might.
So this is the last time we're not gonna have them. So that's crazy, you know.
Yeah, that'll be nice having him. I might actually check out that the 100 line Last Defense Academy when I get my Switch
Okay,
2.
I wanted to say this real quick. I forgot to talk about this in the game portion. I played the demo of this. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
It's Kodaka who did all the Danganronpa stuff.
Yes.
So
And he
I
had
really
like,
liked what I played
his
of it.
own studio that he made, like,
Yes.
from what I understand, like, just to make this game. And if this game doesn't succeed, like, he just won't be able to do that anymore, have that studio anymore. And so I would like
Yeah.
to support this game, just like just get this game so I can at least support the sales of this game. So I want to.
Apparently, he recently on Twitter said it's selling well, so that's good. He has been a little dramatic, I would say, because I've been following this a fair bit. But it's whatever. I don't know the financial, liquidity of his studio. I have no idea.
Yeah,
but
I think it comes from a good place, and I think that he is asking for goodwill and things like that. I like that. I kind of go for that kind of thing, like when somebody's just straight with what they're wanting to, they're saying they need help funding this thing. It's okay. So
yeah, he came from doing the Danganronpa games,
yeah,
and then he did Rain Code as well, a couple years ago, and then he put out something on Steam that's kind of like this freemium thing. I forget what it's called, but it was the last game before 100 Lion. Last Defense Academy. I played about 20 to 30 minutes of this game, just the opening, because the demo's kind of hefty. It's kind of long.
Yeah,
it's really good, really good.
It's got a lot of 9 out of 10s and things like that. So a lot of people really like this game.
Yeah, I love the look of that thing. It looks really good.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of raring to kind of get back into it at some point. I might buy that game. We'll have to see. I'll have to see what I have time for. But all the bigger games have been played for me. It's just a matter of kind of documenting the rest of them and getting ready for Switch 2 stuff, really. Next week is going to be kind of bananas.
Yeah.
But yeah, stay tuned for my reviews on Clair, Obscur, and Doom. And then you're going to probably do Monster Hunter something at some point.
Maybe, yeah. I want to
maybe,
get through
up to you.
the Doll's Nest review and
Doll's Nest, yes, that's the next thing.
First, yeah.
Yep, that's the next things I was going to say, because you're pretty much ready for the Armor Core stuff, and then the Doll's Nest you want to kind of pick away at. So
yeah,
we got some stuff coming. It's going to be good. The next couple weeks are going to be kind of hellacious, so we're going to be we're not going to have lack of content. I'll put it that way. We'll honestly be on the cusp of all the new games coming out by the time we record this next pod. So yeah, that's all I got. Anything for you? Any closing thoughts?
No, I don't think I have no thoughts.
No thoughts.
Head empty.
I have no mouth and I must scream. Yes.
That's a good game.
Yeah, I've heard about that game. I want to read that book too, or that short story. Yeah. But anyway, that's it for me. Keep gaming, folks. Thanks for listening. This is a long one, so enjoy it.
Yep. Waka waka.